we are fighting now a bigger giant than we were fighting last week. So now back to Kilenkwanda. I think not to try and write off the achievements we've made, but I think our biggest mistake in tulifanya was to relent after occupying parliament. Huyu jamaa Ruto came in and threw us two bones. Akatuambia first of all reject finance bill. He has listened. Akakuja akafukuza cabinet yote. Right now, this was just a bone kutuzubaisha. He threw these bones akatuzubaisha. We got so excited. Afu akaingia mitini kupanga kazi. He went in, sat in with at that point when we occupied parliament, everyone was behind us. If you looked at the political spectrum, if you didn't vote no, the entire side, the other side of politics was for us. That is the opposition, which I don't know if it is opposition anymore, but anyone who voted no and all the political parties were for us, for the movement. Then when immediately this guy brought in Raila, the entire conversation changed. And Raila is the king of playing politics of tribalism. Because I'm 100% sure this idea of picking people from various regions in the idea Raila. Right now, you see, I'm pick someone from Mombasa. I've already seen the governor of Mombasa congratulating Joho for it. We were complaining about the Somalis communities congratulating Duale. It's the same thing that is happening now. Governor Mombasa is congratulating Joho. It's the same thing happening. So it's now going to trouble. Soon enough, utaona wa Migori akicongratulate Migori or Homa Bay wakicongratulate kina Mbadi na nani na these minority leaders. They'll be congratulating them, and then now those sides will be almost paralyzed. Utakuwa na call for protest. These sides, if you meet 100 people on the street when these sides are called for protest, you'll be lucky to meet 100 people on the side. But we are not surprised with these things because in the politics, the moment Raila came into the picture, everyone already knew Kina Oparanya. These are conversations that has been going on the TL. I don't know why we act surprised. These are conversations imekuwa ikiendelea on the TL. Kina Joho, these are names that have been rubbed on our faces since last week. Yeah. So saying he threw bones to us, the cabinet secretary, him dissolving the cabinet, him rejecting the finance bill. I won't be surprised right now if you see the elements of that finance bill 2024 coming in, because they're supposed to start sitting next week. Yeah, the parliament is supposed to start sitting next week to start coming up with that act year 2024, because right now we are using the 2023. I'm not surprised if you'll see the elements of what we were rejecting coming in pole, and at this point he's hoping that because he has brought in the opposition, hakutakuwa na hiyo fight anymore, because Mbadi was the guy who was spearheading the war against that finance bill 2024. Now he's the one sitting there. I won't be surprised if you see those elements of the finance bill 2024 slipping in. Look at what he did. Murkomen was the face of this mandamano. When people went to the street mainly, we were fueled by the opulence that Murkomen was exhibiting. What has changed? What will change from him coming from CS for transport into coming for transport, CS for for youth affairs? What will change? Say there's nothing. He's protecting himself. He's protecting the people around him. He's preparing for 2027. Let me give you a history back. In 2005, during the referendum, people voted a vote of confidence against Mwai Kibaki, who was the sitting president. Jamaa ali-strategize akakuja akawin. I don't know. Well, we have people have different views about the 2007 election, but the end product was he was still the president. That is the same politics jamaa anacheza sahi. The country has voted against him, akaleta opposition to him, and in 2027, if those people who are talking about 2027, this guy will probably win, will do whatever it takes. Hata kama ni could take the country into what went to 2007, he will do it for him to retain that power. So me, I'm for if we are doing it, if we want to change this thing, we are doing it now. We are doing it now, and if we are to do it now, we can't use the same thing we've been using at this occupy what occupy. And this thing is it's not about now calling for good governance, Amanini, because that's what he's saying, that his answer is responding to what we've been saying. And you see me, the moment Namonanga natokia hapa nje anasema sijui I'll do this within 60 days, I'll do this within 90 days. We want this guy gone. We want this guy gone, and we want him gone now. We have as say MPs. You've seen MPs say wamenyamaza. Yeah, you've seen say MPs wamenyamaza. Kina Ichungwa, they've been quiet, but from next week now you'll see them talking because opposition have been grabbed. If we are to do this, let's rally people, let's talk to people. If we are to, and one thing that I would like to finish with, if we are to march to the streets, tusiende kwa streets in groups of 100. If we decide that tuna march to the streets, let's all go to the streets. If it's not all of us, then we'd rather not go. If it's not all of us, then we would rather not go, because you've seen what he's been doing. Amekuwa kimada wase na the societies, organizations zimenyamaza, institutions within Kenya zimenyamaza. So if we are not going to the streets, all of us, we'd rather not go. And then lastly, kindly, Mbiti mentioned about political alliances. Ikitu, they're playing politics. We cannot play any other game. We have to play their game they are playing. I'm all in support. At this point, we claim to be leaderless. At this point, we have to show where we stand. We have to show, and we have to, come on, a political party we are forming, we have to form it. If we are picking one party from the circus that they have to leaders, if we are picking a few people from that circus to help us push our agenda, we have to ikituni politics. We can't play it any other way. It is politics, and we have to play politics. If we are picking Kina Murkomen, not Murkomen, Kina Okio Mtata, those a few people who've been showing rationale in their thinking. Let's pick them from that circus. Let's pick them and let's move with them. We have to play politics with this thing. They are playing politics, and we can't go it any other way. We have also to play politics. Thank you.
Thank you Davis. Hata umeongelea Ichungwa nikakumbuka Silvana Sosoro juzi alikuwa anapangisha watu laini akiwaambia anaweza walipa pesa hata mpange laini. Didmas Baraza saa 8 usiku anaambia watu ati msiende streets, mtaenda kwa mochari. Mwingine waluke, like this guy is using thieves. Wezi tu kwa serikali yake. Too much.
And you see Kimuzi, that's
Jay.
Yes. Thank you for giving me the mic. I'll keep it quite brief. Kimuzi, I've been talking to myself in your DM, but it's no problem. Me, I want to start with, there was first another comrade who sent me a message. He was saying about protesting on the weekend, on Sunday, because of Ruto's thing with the church, that it could maybe raise some awareness. But me, I'll be forthcoming and I'll say I know Ruto quite well. I've explained to you in the DM Kimuzi some time ago why I have some knowledge of who Ruto is. And I can tell you, if you guys are banking on IABC, if you're banking on judiciary, if you're banking on any of these institutions, nothing will ever work. None of these institutions can work because they're under state capture. The only way that we can think about doing things is either we get Ruto now, or it won't even be 2027, it won't even be 2032, because already 2 years into the term, he was already trying to extend from a 5-year term to a 7-year term. The only way you can chuck Ruto out and all of these guys, because you can see they've grouped together, is anarchy. I know it's not a sexy thing to say, but the only way you can do it is anarchy. And the only way it can be done is through targeted anarchy. Because these police will keep coming and killing us. The only lines of defense that we have right now are is KDF. So our best bet is try and get KDF onto the streets as soon as possible. Because ironically, we're safer with KDF on the streets than we are with the police on the streets. And it provides some level of restriction, because these guys, the police can't come shooting people when KDF are there. These guys, their hands are also tied when KDF are on the streets. So the best bet that we actually have is to get KDF onto the streets as soon as possible. So the reason why we were so successful on 25th, and if you look at Bangladesh has kind of gone the same way as us, although they started later. Bangladesh, when these guys came out, they just went straight into anarchy. So if you look at the bodies we have,
Jay, unaingia kwa shimo, kindly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but ni kwa umbali.
Let me hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, continue. Carry on, no problem.
They chose to go the aggressive route. Us, we chose to go the more using institutions, this civic education, all of this stuff. The thing with Bangladesh is they have the same bodies as us. We've died almost in equal numbers, but they've managed to achieve more ground in that they shut their country down. Guys like Kimani, Polo Kimani, they were showing the deals that are happening, the airport deals, the minerals, all these things. If we go this IABC route, bro, they're going to stretch this thing as long as possible, and those deals are still going to go through. This is like when your mother asks you to go and get a belt for her to beat you. You're going to come back with the softest belt. So we're asking the same government to give us the IEBC so that we can hang them with it. It's not going to happen. The only thing we can do is either shut down the country completely, or we just become like the Ugandans and we just chill out. The only way we can do this thing is to completely bring everything to a standstill. And that's why my recommendation is those offices like Parliament. When we hit Parliament, we were very successful because it stopped Kenya. If we hit Parliament, if we hit KRA, if we hit City Hall, if we hit all these buildings and cause some disruption, then you'll have the military will be brought onto the streets. Now, what will happen, because of the frustration, Kimuzi, you know you were talking that stuff about Duale and Battle of El Adi. Those things are facts. Once the military is on the streets, it's going to be very fucking hard for them to get the military off the streets. And at that point, we'd have a good chance of a coup. The coup is our only chance of getting these guys out. We have no other chance but a coup. If you think we're going to vote guys with IABC, look at all the MPs, they're sold out. The only way we can check these guys is a coup. And we have the most disciplined military. So likely, we are
I
likely
think we are losing you, so I just
democratic.
request I don't think nakusikia. So kindly fix up your mic or something,
Can you
and
guys hear
then
me?
we'll get to speak.
Can you guys hear me?
You are in a kwa cell mali, an empty slot.
Nikaa ameshikwa huko
Umefungiwa
Central
wapi
bana.
bwana?
I'm talking, but let me try and switch to my. One second. One second. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, tunakusikia.
Okay, so what I was saying was the only way we can track these guys is a coup. IEBC and those strategies, they're not going to give us the rope to hang them. The only way we can do it is if we stop the country. Ruto also knows if the country lights on fire, they're going to do what they've done in Haiti. They're going to bring people to slow things down. So the only way we can do it is if we physically stop Ruto. So while they're going the violence route, in fact, this is something that we should actually be fueling. I know it sounds crazy to say, but once that military is on the streets, the country stops. And they can't take KDF back into the barracks easily. That's our only chance. That's the way I see it. I don't see us going, because guys from Githurai went out to protest. They went home, they're being chapped with tear gas, bullets, water cannons in their house. Your houses are not safe. We're safer when the military is on the streets. So that's just the 2 cents I had. If we're serious about getting these guys out, just know the only way we're going to do it is by shutting this country down with anarchy, and that's hitting major points. We need to be in JKIA, we need to be in KRA, we need to be in City Hall, we need to do Parliament again, we need to do all of these buildings till the country shuts down. When there's enough anarchy, I'm even serious, we need to even be beating politicians. Guys like Osoro, we need to be beating these guys. Because once this shit shuts down, KDF will come into the streets. Once KDF is in the streets, Ruto will have a hard time sending them back because there's some disunity. That's why he had to move that chick, I forget her name. From there, he had to switch her with Duale because they refused Duale. You can see even some key resistance is coming from KDF. There's no synergy with KDF. That's our only chance here. But if we want to go the police way and everything, we'll just keep finding ourselves in rivers and things will go wrong. But if guys are ready to really make some impact, some quick impact, we need to trauma this thing, Kidogo. That's the only way we can do it. Because the country is being sold and we can't stop them. You're asking the same guys who are selling the country to then investigate and stop the selling. It won't happen, bro. The only way we can do this thing is if we trauma it. So if guys are serious, this is the only way to do it. Otherwise, we can keep talking constitutions like we live in America or the US, or UK or something. But you guys know damn fucking well there's no constitution that's being followed. Look at the CDF. Look at all the positions they've been putting. These guys have been circumventing the constitution. Didn't the courts just rule that we can't send guys to Haiti? Where are our soldiers right now? See, those guys are chilling in Haiti right now. They're fighting gangs over there. There's nothing you're going to do with the judiciary. There's nothing you're going to do with IEBC. There's nothing we're going to do with IDs. There's nothing we're going to do with passports. There's nothing we're going to do with any institution. If we really want this country back, We have to start banning shit and banning politicians. The moment that army comes to the streets, you'll see how quickly this country will turn around. There's no other fucking way. You know me, I'm waking up in the morning, I'm seeing guys being killed. This shit is just... Let me just give up the mic now, because now I'll start shouting, it will get crazy. But there's no other way. So unless guys are ready to put the military in the streets, everybody just Tulia and we just relax. But unless the military is in the streets, bro, I couldn't option, bro. And it has to be the military in the streets, state of emergency. It can't be this thing about you deploy, then you send back, you deploy, you send back. Those police won't shoot us when the military is in the streets. And Itumbi, you're in this thing I can see over here. Itumbi, fuck you and fuck your government, you fucking bloody dickhead. You guys, very soon
Okay,
itakuwa
thank
mbaya.
you.
But
Thank
anyway,
you.
take care.
Where?
Thank you so much. And next time try fix your mic, man. Meaning, but
There was
thank you.
there
I
was a setting
totally
it put a
concur.
setting accidentally, but I'll do it for next time. Thanks, bro. Thanks for putting me on, huh?
Okay, no problem. Okay, thank you. So, okay, we'll give it to Ronnie. Umeinua mkono sana, you've been here for a while. 3 minutes maximum. After Ronnie, and then Mbit will give the next speaker.
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, yeah, at this point, I don't think if somebody is not mad, kama mtu ajejam, sijui labda akona shida mahali. Kila siku unaamka umejam kushinda jana. Unaamka umejam kushinda jana. Like last month, I was doing some work and I happened to meet two former MPs. Noah Katanangala and is it Gideon Lotodo or something? Wale ma MP wa kitambo. Au majamaa walikuwa wanapatiwa 16,000 wakati wa Moi. That's why saizi ukipata ma MP wenye walikuwa wakati wa Moi, they don't have anything. But kwanza hao mafala wapatiwe CDF, they act like gods, eh? So I don't know what we are going to do, but if we can snatch CDF out of the MPs, it demoralize wengi sana. Kwa sababu it doesn't make sense MP na ati kukua tu MP you need more than 30 mic ku campaign peke yake. So I think on the way forward we should know how tunaweza fanyaje hii something like parliamentarian position ikuwe very dislikable, ndio hata mtu akifikiria hapo anajua hiyo hapo salary sitapata. Another thing, there's a guy who talked earlier on and then he said something to do with if you elect somebody is going to join them, but I take Umtata as an example. He's been there, he has not been compromised, which means when somebody occupies that position, it's a personal choice to be compromised or not to be compromised, and you know what has taken you there. So as much as tunaweza blame siju political parties and all, no, those are personal decisions. If you choose to be corrupt, you are maybe you ulikuwa too designed by nature when corrupt. So hakuna vile tutaanza ku blame political parties. We have to go to the individuals. Vile tulikuwa tumeanza ku deplatform our MPs, the same should continue. For the past like 1 week, ni kama kiburi imerudi. Wanaongea takataka hata hawa mamadaras, huyu kama nani Waluke na huyu mwingine, huyu Kofia Red, sijui anaitwa nani. Hao majamaa wanaongea ujinga na obvious na ile uzuri ile kitu wanajua, they know they are speaking bullshit. Na ego ina influence. But ever since ile occupation ya parliament hata uliona wakifanya mockery. Ati mimi vile niliona Gen Z bla 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 nilikuwa wa kwanza kufika kwa tunnel, which means walikuwa wameingiza uoga. But now ni kama Ruto amewaambia tutakuwa na nyinyi. Unaona? Mapolisi tuko na ma cousins, tuko na ma bro, tuko na ma sisters in the police service. But again, sijui kama wanafidiwa na bangi ama ni nini. Watu wanatoka huko wanapigana tu, hataki kujua wanapigana nani, wanapiga watoto, wanatia gas watoto, ni kama mimi sijui labda qualification ya kama plus D minor inafaa ukuwe mjinga ndio ukuwe absorbed kwa hao watu sijui. Na tukisema ni ujinga ni kuanzia the tops. Kwa sababu hao wengine they take instructions. If they've been given stupid instructions, they're going to follow the same stupid instructions. So hiyo reform inafaa ikuwe hapo, inafaa ikuwe by merit bana. Mtu anakuambia ako peaceful, ako na firimbi. Mbwa ako na gun, ako na rungu na kila nini, unapigwa na hata say something you had for so. The same police wanajua the politician wanawatumia and they pay goons. Police inajita police service, wanaenda nao majamaa wana in cahoots with the goons. Ile Range Rover ya jana ikasindikizwa nao majamaa. The police did nothing. ile inaitwa nini DPP ile point amesema jana they cannot be identified. The same policeman alionekana jana alikuwa na AK47, but sisi ni wajinga, hakuna kitu tunaweza fanya, tunawasikiza tu. Yeah. Another thing mali watu wametushindia is they have the numbers. I mean they have the resources, but we have the numbers. So me I think your place ya registrations ya the IDs inafaa to back up professor, like kila mtu kama unajua hauna ID, unajua watu hawana ID tukuwe nazo, because I think that's the only weapon which can help us to solve all these problems amicably, not going the anarchy way or anything, because for now we've lost more than 50 people. That's hizo ni mob bana, hizo ni mob, na tuwezi taka kulose wengine. Atuwezi enda ile anga ina pile up kila siku, and then you can start making some stupid decisions. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I think if we have our constitution on our side and some of the few institutions and some of the few leaders, we have the numbers. Baba saizi naona hiyo the formation yenye iko saizi ni the former Pentagon, so ni watu wamewaka pamoja, hakuna ni maboys saizi wako huko juu, si ati wanaenda rebuild anything, ni maboys wanaenda huko juu, so it's them against us. So tufanye whatever we can do, lakini if kama hujajump by saizi you have a problem, like you really have a problem. Unaamka tu mimi naamka tu kama
I'll have to cut you short.
Okay, I'll talk some other
I'll
time.
have to cut you short. Thank you. Time is up. So I'm going to be very radical on time pia, so that tupatie watu wengine chance. Thank you for your submission.
Oliat, naona Itumbi yako hapa, sijui Itumbi, what is he doing here? Wacha tutoe Itumbi kwanza.
Itumbi bwana. Watu kama hao na block ndo wasijoin space. Itumbi, get the fuck out of here. Toka hapa. Just block him.
Nilisikia alifutwa kazi ama nilisikia alifutwa job manze. Nilisikia alifutwa job. Nani Bella you can now speak. Ulikuwa umengoja. You want to bring Bella?
Oh, hi.
Karibu.
Hello, unanisikia Mbiti?
Tunakusikia.
Okay.
You can speak.
Okay. Itaanza wapi? Mi hata nashanga like who exactly advises Ruto, because this guy unaona ile literally ametupatia middle finger like mujidishi, alafu akaona sasa actually I'm just wondering, so literally hakuna opposition in government, ni kama sasa ni sisi, like it's us Gen Z and millennials versus the government, sababu sasa hiyo ODM and UDA is one, not that wameamua kujoin hands. Yani literally Ruto thrives in rewarding mediocrity, incompetence, hata sijui kama ni loyalty kwa hapo ama kusaidiana tu kuiba. Honestly with Joho, hata naona certificate yake ya KCSE na trend like nigga gets only D. Like how akiwa nimekuwa nikiona hizo stories za minerals and everything through Polo Kimani. Alafu ukiangalia whoever is in charge of that ministry, oh my God. Then you were nasiget how these CSAs and juu hakuna competence kwa au does qualification ya mtu alikuwa kwa transport ina compare na kwa issue ya youth affairs, mtu wa defense na environment zina compare aje tena. Ai Ruto mi sijui by the place imefika, I don't know kama ile strategy ya Bangladesh itawaka. You know these people nikawa watu walikuwa na night shift, kuna watu wa kuingia usiku na mchana, but you know the more tunaenda kwa streets the more watu wanauawa, and we have a very president akwangi na remorse, like ni kama ajali. Leo amesema anaongeza polisi and other security people mshahara, ni kama na reward for killing people something. Hata hajaongelea ile masaka imehappen side za Kahawa West jana. Like honestly, what's going on in this country? Cause hata sielewi. You know vile hata tumekuwa tukifikirianga Raila atio, tufikiria Miguna anamuonea kumuita conman. Hey, that nigga is literally a conman. Ameatbreak watu wengi, but sir, what can you even do about it? Me honestly sahi mambo sijui kwenda kwa streets daily kama will work, because bado tutaendelea kuwawa. Polisi ni wengine very stupid people. Watu tu kama kina Joho, same grades. Hawatumiangi akili, so they don't even care when they kill people. The more tunaenda streets, the more tunauawa. The more we shut up, the more tunakaliwa. At this point, I can't tell what will work, but someone was saying about occupying stadiums, what. Honestly, if that can work, that's it. Ama, kama hata protest the Sunday can do. Yes, zinaweza work because Ruto believes he's such a Christian, quote unquote, because hakuna Christian behave kama yeye. Kama churches zinaweza ona, Sundays ndo mna protest sana, ile siku yenye naamini ndo siku ya God wake and everything. Maybe something can change, I don't know. But ile strategy ya Bangladesh kama inaweza work, that one. If for real, JKA can be occupied day and night, I feel something can happen. Na siku yenye these CSs au nominees will be watakuwa vetted kwa parliament. If we can get there, hatufai kukubali watu kama Murkomen Youth Affairs, the same guy mwenye hatutaki with those millions of watches zake, bado ndo huyo sijui ameletwa kuturingia zaidi. Who is Joho? Opio Wandai, like what? Nini inaendelea? Hata kama hapana, we can't accept. Then namalizia the sijui student leaders wa university walifanyiwa nini. The current student leaders ni very incompetent pia wao. Majui ni kuweko kwa mifuko. If these people wangekuwa na influence kama ya the past student leaders, kina Babu and the others, everything yenye na happen saa hii na affect pia students wa university fees and everything, pia ni part of the Gen Z. If the current student leaders did something like ni kama mobilize those students, occupy the streets, a lot can change. Honestly, point imefika, sijui Ruto anataka aje, but shida yake aoni the problem is from within him and then nincompoops wenye wamenira waje sijui kupronounce jina hapo, there's a Kimiru in me, wenye wamemsurround hapo, those bunch of dimwits wamemsurround. Aoni the problem inatoka from those people, his advisors and him. Apendangi kuambiwa, you can't have not every time your ego has to be massaged. Sometimes just be humble enough kusikia what other people have to say. Like, mi mtu asiisema sijui leaders come from God. Yes, sometimes they do, but hii yetu hapana. Hii nayo hapana. Sijui, but I really hope by the end of the space tutakuwa tumepata better solutions, because no, we can't continue like this. Anyway, thank you for the time. Unaweza peana mic.
Thank you. And by the way, I think we need to have, hata kama we are going to march, we need to have our irreducible minimum, whatever Raila alikuwa anaandika kwa kashenzi. But we need to ask ourselves, mnataka Ruto atoke sahi ama 2027? Kama in 2027, then we need to have a list of what we want to be done right now. Kama mnataka atoke sahi, kama mimi nataka atoke sahi, then let's march. Next speaker ni nani? Next speaker. Okay, some people have been waiting. Gatimu, we've been on wait list for long. Gatimu, then Diana, then Sprint Fix It.
Okay, thank you. Ruto is a joker, and the nomination actually has shown that this guy is basically not listening. And I think now he's no longer fit to lead us. And we've clearly seen even yesterday, it's like his conscience is actually devoid of feeling. And so for me, I think it looks like he's out of option, and there's option 1, Ruto must go. Option 2, Ruto must go. And my favorite option is option 3, Ruto must go. I think waiting for him to change is not an option for us now. Ruto, as Miguna likes saying, is actually beyond redemption. But here's the thing, we've tried the traditional method like protesting, and we've been met with the police brutality, abduction, and even murder. But I would like to just let us not be discouraged. I think we still have more strategies that can be effective, and I'd like to suggest just 3. And the first one is actually economic pressure. We can begin to actually boycott products or even companies that are supporting the government. Think of, for example, Safaricom. I'm not yet sure if they support the government, but the government has 35% share in Safaricom. And of late, you've seen actually Safaricom's monopoly within the market in Kenya has actually given them a lot of arrogance by slowing down the internet and hiking up the prices of the transaction. So I think we need to start boycotting the product. And I know all of us know products that are associated with the government, but not only the government, even these incompetent politicians that we're actually talking about. Secondly, I'd like us to have civil disobedience. And I think we've tried to protest. We can actually start trying the sit-ins. And sit-in, basically, we can just decide if you're occupying the CBD and sit there and paralyze everything in the city of Nairobi. They have no choice. They'll have to listen to us. If you're occupying the church, on Sunday, if you go there, don't come out of the church. They'll have to provide you food and all that stuff, but don't come out of there. Let's give it a try. We can even possibly, even in the villages, just block the main road so that nothing is happening. We just have to sacrifice ourselves for some weeks just to and block all these roads to ensure that they listen to us. And those who are abroad, who are Komayolo, we can keep on giving pressure to the international community for them to do something. And thirdly, it's let's keep the town hall meetings going. Let's keep the citizen assemblies going, because it's actually the place where it's creating more awareness and even discussing issues and coming up with the solution for our country. And lastly, just to mention something that people have also mentioned about engaging politicians. I think we need to bring on board those who, in quotes, we could call good politicians, the likes of Okia Omtata. Those people, we can bring them on board so that we can continue strategizing together. I think I rest my case. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next speaker, kindly take up.
Kimuzi? Am I audible?
Orumbiti, you had something to say. Orumbiti, you had something to say.
No, I just wanted to give the mic to the next person so that we move. Waseni wengi. Githaiga was there, and then Kenya, and then Philly, and then Morara, Ivo.
Okay, so am I audible? Kindly just with an emoji. Okay,
yeah.
Thank
Sure.
you. I've been trying to get on a Kimuzi space since 18th June, but nonetheless, I'm here, and I'm going to use my 3 minutes expeditiously. Now, I would like us to look and audit the movement, because we need to see what have been our wins and what have been our losses. And the main thing I would like to talk about is, like, basically the ideology behind all this was now changing the political landscape to accountability and meritocracy. So what we've seen is that he basically said that this is not the system we want for our political cahoon. And all what you've been doing or all what you've been saying, it's nonsense to the political class. So that's a very big win, because we already know that accountability. We are told to have the ambition of the Asian tigers, but the accountability of African greed. Number one, we know the structure of politics in Kenya now. We know who drives them. We know how they thrive. We know who drives the conversations. So we've had the bloggers, we've had the goons, we've had the telecoms, we've had all these people bringing all this division. And I think if has discussed and see what would be the what should we be doing, or what was our loss? We were not able to predict patterns. We were not able to see Ruto's character, and we have seen that no line we won't cross. There are no babies, there are no presidential, there are no human rights, there's no nothing. So what should we do?
Githaiga, I don't know ni mimi ama
Yo,
there's some
kuna
noise
shida na
coming.
space ama ni mic yake?
Not my mute. Githaiga, can you hear? Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Ni kama ni Yeah, it's better. Your mic was noisy. Continue.
Okay, Sawa. Apologies for that. So there's someone who discussed something, and I don't know whether we picked it up. Why the U-turn in the CS of defense? Why was there a U-turn? Someone was nominated and then someone was switched. That tells you that we have a card that we can still use, and that was explained in a rather elaborate manner that I won't go into it. And this is an area we should be exploring, because what does it tell you that the KDF and the way the structures has been put? And then if you look at who was nominated and the allegations behind that particular nomination, you can see it's also a slap in the face in the people in the people who serve the disciplined forces. So that's an option, because I'm telling you, however beautiful we have the ideas for 2027, I don't think any of us will be alive to see there. And if you need any evidence, then the neighborhoods that had a night of terror can maybe say IDs will be used to suppress. Already he knows. One of the characteristics of a narcissistic personality, they are quite smart. They're quite conniving. They know that you're going to need voter registration in numbers. They know they're going to need IDs, but they have the systems with them. So I think we should also be looking for the long term, someone to come up with a plan. And I want to thank people, because of now we are having the type of conversations that really matter. I am from Laikipia, and I'm going to bring it out here and say thank you so much to Paulo Kimani, because what we've not been seeing is the topic of minerals in the mainstream. And unfortunately, I'm going to say that although we have been facing local, like it seems like it's a local thing, there are also international players behind it, because I shared a map that has the Northland Ridgeland Trust. And if you look at the map and how those conservations have been spread out, and then you go and look at resources of the Kenya geological maps, it's such a huge coincidence that you're finding that most of these conservancies or wildlife or anything coincide with the locations that have been mapped. And if you want to use this as evidence, go to Samsam Water website, where they have all the gazettes for the geological maps that were done. And then you're going to see that, I'll give just one example. Radioactive item, something that is so precious, Sumerium, Amasamascite, that particular rock. It's rich in all those rare earth metals. We have Lewa Downs. We have Borana Conservancy. We have Lewa Downs, and that's where we have the Loldaiga Hills. Go get your geology maps, read that, and then you just ask yourself, what a coincidence that some of these conservancies sit down into some of the places that. Thank you so much. Anyone who is going to do this, I hope you have the mental fortitude to see it to the very end. I know people are exhausted. That is one of the things the government has been banking on, that you're going to get exhausted, you're going to get discouraged. And I just want to give you encouragement that if you're seeing this amount of force, if you're seeing this amount of murder, we are onto something. And the political class is going to just be on the same team to ensure that we are still going to be the same people. Poverty is by design. Unemployment is by design. 4 factors of production: land, capital, enterprising, enterprising youth, whatever. Sorry, I am racing. But it's just that this is a premium space, and I've been wanting to be here from the 18th. So my thoughts are a bit jumped up, and also the stress from being persecuted for a long time. Now, the young people in Kenya, you are made unemployed, you are made poor by design, because you don't have land, and neither the capital. Look at the political class. They have the lands, they have the capital. All what they don't have, it's labor. So what happens? For labor to become cheap, it must keep you in a poverty cycle. As many people who are poor, as many qualified, you get desperate. If you get desperate, now you can be manipulated to get what is not your worth. That's why I think the end game is make as many young people poor, desperate. They can be paid whatever they pay. All the profits go to the people who own lands, capital, and any form of resources. And again, if I kill you, I'll replace you with another one. If I fire you, I'll replace with another one. Thank you so much, Kimuzi. Thank you so much, Dr. Mbiti. I appreciate your time.
Thanks. Philly alafu Mkenya. Philly? Philly?
Yes, unaweza nisikia? Unaweza nisikia?
Yes, Kimuzi.
Kindly balance the gender.
Najaribu ku-add na kuna females najaribu kuongeza wanaingia wakidrop. I don't know if it's their network. I'm trying to balance. Naona kadhaa on the request.
Dr. Mbiti, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So, thanks for the opportunity. What I wanted to start with is, when the ruling class rob the poor, it's called business. But when the poor fight back, it's called violence. It cannot be so that when we fight back, serikali ina behave the way it behaves, because for one, we have been killed, watu wengi wameuawa, watu 50, but why nini na to stop for us to respond back? And how do we respond? Kuna mse
Amepotea.
Nilidhania ni mimi tu.
Hata mimi simsikii.
Karibu
unanisikia? Unanisikia sasa hivi?
Yeah, you're back.
Sorry, maybe simu yangu ilizima screen, but anyways, nasema we should respond by Molotov cocktails. Hivyo tu ndio hii regime itasikia, because hatuwezi kaa kila siku tukisema tunashutiwa watu 50 wameuawa, na it's more than that, because serikali inakuja usiku kwa neighborhoods and shooting up neighborhoods. I mean, which government does this to its own people? And I would advise hata sisi, because watu wanaanza kuchoka, it should be aura for aura. Venye wanatuma, venye wanarusha risasi, pia sisi tunarudisha na Molotov cocktails, because that is the only way hii serikali ita understand. Lazima uelewe who we're dealing with, and we're dealing with Ruto, and we have to give him his flowers in terms of he's a conniving thief, he's narcissistic, and he knows how to respond and when to respond. So ukishajua your enemy, then you have to respond. Mtu narcissistic unamzima aje kwa kuleta as much chaos as possible, usimpe opportunity ya kusema, because ya kuongea, because hata ukiangalia hiyo speech yake ya leo, the way he starts it, anaanza kwa ile vitu ya kutumia wazungu wake wa US na wazungu wake wa nini wa EU, because that speech is tailored for them. Ndio waone okay, umsi ni msoma democracy, anajaribu kustabilize nchi, hakuna, alafu at the end anatuacha na rubbish akina Joho na wengine hapo akina Mbadi and I don't know who. But now we have to respond as citizens in a way like this, because hii ni second revolution. Wacha ile kupigania sijui multipartyism. We have to know that this is the second revolution, and we have to take it to him kabisa. We have to take it to him. Venye ule Mr. J alisema, once the military is out, ni ngumu kurudishwa nyuma. Na how can we ensure that wamekaa out kila siku, aturushi military any more cocktails, tunarushia Molotov cocktails ni wa polisi, because polisi ndo ametuua. Ule msee amekuwa kishoot Rex na ameshoot hawa si wengine, the guy is still in duty bana. I mean, hatuwezi anza histo, tukienda to occupy stadium, atachapa tear gas, hauwezi kaa hapo ubreathe tear gas, utatoroka na atatu disperse, divide and conquer. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa narrative yake ya Hustler versus Dynasty. Hiyo ilikuwa narrative yake ya kudivide tribal politics, ya kudivide Mount Kenya so that our solidify baadaye, na hii ndio narrative anatumia kwa sisi, divide and conquer. We must not allow that kabisa. We have to answer aura for aura. Akituma risasi pia sisi tunajibu na Molotov cocktail yetu, because it's easy to make, na tunaweza iweka kwa nyumba, na hiyo once hiyo ikitokea kwa hizi makampeni zake zenye anakimbia kila mali na hizi magari zake, akikimbia akitoka kanisani unampa yake, because it cannot be like such bana. It cannot be like such. Thank you guys.
Thanks. I wanted to, before Mkenya, I wanted to give Dr. Bosire, she has been off and on for gender balance. Then Mkenya. Alafu, I'm seeing Prof Kivuda. Niliona alisalamia alisalamia Ruto 2018 akisema the stadium in Wote. I think I saw that photo. We said where we are right now, we need political solutions to
Mbona
this
amerequest
political.
tupatie mic, we ask him questions and we go hard on him.
Nataka akuje kwa nataka niweke prof hapa atuambie what I just want to understand like what goes through the minds of politicians. Like unatoka a place, what makes you what is so fascinating about owning this thing at the expense of wewe unaingia kwako na kwa mansion wherever na the sub county hospital hapo next hakuna shit. Wewe you are flying with choppers and hata hiyo chopper ikicrash the first place unaingia ni hiyo wherever. So tutampatia mic atuambie, he has been on the political scene, atuelezee what and then atupatie. Tumesema we want, I believe he's one of the people who has been saying tukisema we want a mimi nimesema I think we need a political party. Kina Okia, kina Kibuth, they have been there, we have not seen them overly corrupted, so we'll give him a mic and then we see. So Doc, karibu. I don't know if Dr. Bosiri ananisikia. Mkenya, you can go as you wait for Bosiri, ni kama network or something.
Oh, okay. Sawa. If there is another lady pia anaweza ongea tu before I speak. Kukue tuna that balance. Tukinini. So, at the point yenye tumefika, there was something that was mentioned. Forget about following the black letter law. Sai mali tumefika ni everything, swords have been thrown na kila kitu. So hii mambo ingine mmekuwa mkipush, if you know very well deep inside right now the position that we are in, the position that me Kenya Daima I'm taking the position of Ruto must go, and there is no way we are going to achieve that by not going rogue. There is no way you are going to lie to us that about the judicial that is compromised, the legislature that is compromised, and we can't even talk about anything about the executive that we have at the moment. We have to go rogue. I'm in support of any move that involves now using the Molotovs and responding accordingly, because we have gotten to that point. Because now this point of strategically killing us so that we can be able to sell fear to us, it's not really going to work. So this idea yenye mtu kama unaweka kwa akili there is any dialogue, there is any political thing that is going to happen, we are not going to solve, because what we are going to do is creating another political class. Then this other political class that we think we are creating, it's going to be so compromised. Right now we have to bring all the systems down, then we rebuild them, and we've realized that no amount, me hata sisikizangi Ruto siku hizi, I don't listen to Ruto hata a point nani siku hizi, I don't even give a fuck hata a point watch hata even if Ruto takes my brother sahi amweke kama CS, I wouldn't even bother with it, because after listening to everything since this conversation started, we realized that those people are so compromised. Ruto cannot do anything else because it is the whole political class that is compromised. Because ukiangalia hizo pesa zote zenye zimekuwa zikikuliwa and the money that we are telling them we are not going to pay this as a country, it's already over 6.1. Hiyo over 6.1 ukiangalia imetumika kwa what? Imetumika ku bribe the judges and everything. So people likes of Uhuru Kenyatta and everyone, all those people are compromised. Let's come to people like Raila. When Raila went for the handshake, what do you think happened really there? It's the same money that was being eaten. Now let's even boil down to the rest of the things. So guys, forget about working with any political class at the moment. Hata wakina Kivuta Kibwana nini, these are not guys we can work with. Muulize time yenye aliintroduce mambo ya Okela Nyomba Kalila nini, hiyo maziwa ilikuwa inatoka wapi? Maziwa inampakajwa inatolewa huko Mount Kenya sijui wapi, then inaletwa inaanza kuwekwa kwa to package. While I appreciate ile voice Kivuta anaweza leta, ile voice any other person anaweza leta, but believe you me, any political class it's nonsense if they did not improve the places that they were. Kivuta hizi kudanganya haku serve the people of Makueni, ameserve the people of Makueni, but watu wa Makueni sahi wanateseka kama huko kwetu Sekuru and everything. Before you get it, it's nothing personal, it's just that we need to remain objective. Tushasema tunatoa Ruto, it is Ruto tunatoa, na if we are going to toa Ruto, believe you me, we have to bring all the systems down. Hii mambo ya wacha sasa, what will the lawyers say? Fuck you guys, what have the lawyers been saying when Kenyans are being killed? You see, the problem is msianze kufikiria one person is enough, one person is the number. Forget about huge massacre that's going to bring one person is enough. Hii mambo ya kufuata the black letter law ishafika a stage where hatuwezi. You get atwezi. So guys, we have to go rogue. Na kina mama msifikiria ati they fought this war wakinini. No. And remember, right now at least kuna phones, kuna other means of communication. Hao watu walikuwa wanatumiana sijui mabarua sijui na huko mmoja kwenye Ndarua forest mwingine ako wapi, and the coordination was better. Let's work on coordination, because the coordination that we are supposed to work on is the coordination of going wrong. Kama kina madaktari kama kina Mbiti watatuletea ways of creating cyanide and everything, alafu wale watu wengine kama wenye wako kwa tech kina Mkenya Daima and the rest of the guys watuletea, we can be able to coordinate an offline, a proper offline conversation within the LoRa's and all the other tech. Then the other people, then evil, because we have to go wrong at this point. This is where it has gotten. Mambo ya kufuata law na nini, it's not working for us, because the more we are following the law, because guys, if you've read The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli, look at what he is doing. This is just prolonging the oppression. This what Ruto is doing now. It's uplifted. It's not even his strategy. It's uplifted from The Prince. You get whereby you prolong how you are. This is mental and psychological exhaustion is happening with Ruto. Ruto doesn't give a fuck. I even wrote it in Kambia kina Murkomen mtuna Murkomen wamerudishwa. Do you think Ruto doesn't know? This is just fueling the anger, and prolonging is going. You get Ruto knows he has to go, but in order to nini another tantrum. So that's why I don't even bother. My concern is how do we get Ruto out, and how we are going to get Ruto out is going wrong. Atuna any other option. Forget about mask the words capping. You know what does the law say? This we need to form a political party because we need to play the political game. Apana, they are not playing any political game with that. These people are killing us. Nini. Kivuda, the people who are killing, they are people within your circle. Those are the people ukikuwa na shida that you call. You don't call Mkenya Daima ama Mbiti ama Kimuzi. These are your friends. Even if you are here, I'm sure these are your friends. You already know too much about what is happening, more than even us. But you guys can't help us. That is the point that we are in. So going next, guys, just know we have to go rogue. Hakuna kitu ingine. If tunaenda kutokea pale maandamano and everything, saa hii tukibeba nini? Tukibeba ka flag, kumbuka kubeba pia your bottle of Molotov, because it's a retaliation. At this point it has gotten. It is wrong, it is bad, and we have no other option. Ruto is killing us. Tomorrow it will be Kenya Daima, tomorrow it will be Mbiti, tomorrow it will be any other Kenyan. We are not any special at this point. So guys, it's going wrong going forward. That's my submission.
We? Mi hata sitaki kudilute chenye Mkenyanzia amesema. I want to give the two ladies a chance, then we bring Prof, and then we go back to the implementer na MSIC. Nyamisa,
Where?
then Irene. Go. Tuambie.
Let me just start with where, because this is a lot. Emotionally, physically, psychologically, this is a lot on all of us. Yeah? Watu wanaumia. Like, I hope if you are here and you are part of this government, I really hope that munasikizanga. Like, at this point, tunafeel ni kama there's kasoro kwa akili yenu. But we hope at some point kuna sense itaingia kwa akili yenu, because this cannot be it. Let me first start with chenye ilinileta hapa before nisahau. Mkenya Daima mention something about all of us taking responsibility, and I've also seen a post by someone who has mentioned that there have been very many people missing, and considering what happened yesterday and last week, we don't know how many people are missing as from yesterday to now. We need to find a way to keep tabs on these people. And someone has suggested that since last time we took too much time to try and follow up what happened in Githurai and all the other estates and Ongatarongai, maybe this time we should set up maybe a reporting center or something, somewhere central, maybe in Githurai, maybe somewhere. Mbiti, I don't know if this is something that can be workable, that we can come up with haraka, so that in case there are any cases that are supposed to be reported, juu saa hizi ni kama tunajitegemea, yeah? Watu wengine wanaenda kwa police station nasikia hawapewi OB, people are desperate. So if we can do this, please tuharakishe, tufanye. I'm working with a group of about 12 techies. We are willing to put in the work. We've worked on creating a database for missing persons. I know other techies are also trying to do the same. I don't know how we can connect with each other so that we can collect all this data. You can check out Kumbi Trace. I'll leave it in the comments right now. It's called Kumbi Trace or Kumbi. You can follow Kumbi Trace on Twitter, or go to kumbitrace.ke. You'll check out the database. Kindly help us amplify so that we can capture all the missing people and help amplify the missing persons, because there have been issues whereby some people are not that well known and some people are very well known. So we tend to amplify the ones that are well known and forget the other ones. So kindly, if you could just follow Kumbi Trace and then amplify, go to the website, check it out. If there are any improvements you think are necessary, let us know. That aside, I also wanted to address the issue of IDs. Kindly, if there is anyone here who understands what is going on with IDs, because so many people are in trouble because they don't have IDs. Let me not even go so far. Can you imagine right now in the middle of these protests? Yes, and I'm going to address men specifically. You know how the police treat men specifically. Can you imagine being caught right now without an ID? I'm told you're supposed to be given 24 hours to produce your physical ID. Yeah, but we know how the cops operate. We know how the cops operate. By the time the 24 hours lapse, I don't know where you will be. So if you are the person responsible for the delays that are happening in immigration and in Huduma and in, I'm told it's called NRB Kitambulisho or something, please do your job. Please do your job. Personally, I have waited for my ID for 8 months. It has stopped so many things in my life. I don't even want to start thinking about it. I was crying about it on social media on Friday for those who saw. It should not take us embarrassed after I come and throw a tantrum on social media is when someone calls me from NRB Kitambulisho to tell me that they can help me. Yes, this is on Friday. My ID was printed on Friday night. And they told me that they were going to give it to me on Saturday because I was supposed to go to Eldoret to apply for my passport on Monday. They actually promised they were going to give it to me, to deliver it to me on Saturday. On Saturday, these guys did not deliver as expected. They said the ID had been printed. First of all, let us note that this ID was printed overnight, meaning getting an ID should not take anyone that long. If it can be printed overnight, then it can be printed overnight. Let us stop lying to each other. Let us stop making each other wait for months for something that can be done immediately. If banks can print ATM cards immediately, why are we waiting for weeks and months for IDs? We have children going to school in the next few weeks. They don't have their identification cards. They cannot apply for help. These are kids whose parents are expected to pay over 200,000 in school fees, or God knows how much it is right now. I was in campus when school fees was about 16,000 per semester. Parents still could not afford that money. So I don't know what people expect out of some of these incompetencies. You're ruining people's lives. You're ruining people's chances of getting jobs. You're ruining people's chances of getting scholarships. Mnafanya vitu mbaya. I am very, very exhausted with this whole ID thing. I think the ones who've been following me in the past few days know I am very exhausted. Please, if you are in that office and if you are that person that has been handling Huduma Center social media handles, do not promise things that you know you cannot deliver. If you come to my DMs and tell me to give you my location so that you can deliver my ID, that you have stayed for almost 8 months now before you told me that there was a problem with my ID. Do that. Do the delivery. In fact, I have been told over and over again that Huduma Center does not offer that service. Why? What is Posta Kenya doing? Posta Kenya right now is just a building sitting there. Yeah? As Kenyans, in fact, where we are as a country, we should be getting home deliveries. If banks can do it, Posta can do it. I don't understand it. So if you are the person responsible for that, or you know the person responsible for IDs, I know that Professor were trying to push for this. And the reason why this scares me even more is Huduma Center turned around and told me they don't deliver, so I should go and pick it up. That is okay. But how am I supposed to show up at Huduma Center by myself, a woman by myself? If Professor was scared enough to go MIA from social media, I have a padlock on my door as I speak on this space. I have a padlock on my door. I had to talk to my watchman, to a boda and what, just in case I go missing. They're asking me to walk myself there and go pick up that ID. No, I'm not going to do that. By myself, I'm not going to do that. So I don't know who's in charge of this, but if you know that person, tell them to release IDs, because it is corruption and incompetence that is going on in there. And just to close, let me repeat that we are trying to create a database for missing persons. So please follow KumbiTrace. Go to kumbitrace.ke. KumbiTrace, just KUMBITRACE.ke. Sign up if you have any missing persons cases that you need to report. You can sign up and report there. You can DM us at KumbiTrace, or you can just tag us on the missing persons cases. I'll breathe for now, but I'm very angry. Thank you, Miti.
Thanks. I think that's very important. We have a lot of people who were arrested and missing from yesterday. So you can even share in my DM or the chat box or any of the calls, so that we can also amplify. I'm seeing everyone will speak. I want to bring Irene just for gender purposes, and then we'll bring Prof. Atueleze. I think there are some questions that were asked to him, and then we can add more speakers. Irene, I don't know if she can hear me. Irene, Aga. Okay. Prof, I don't know if you can hear me. I want you, number one, to tell us what's your take on what is happening politically. I think you are one of those people who have been there since when Kenya was fighting for multi-party. What do you have to say? Just a few minutes before we bring others. I don't know if Prof Kibuda can hear me.
Yes, BT, yes, I
First,
can hear
kindly,
you.
before you speak, I would like to ask you a question. Before you speak, Prof,
Okay.
I would like to ask you a question. Are you here because hujapewa cheo mahali, ama you are here because you support the movement and believe in it?
Yeah, and also just to add on that, I think what is your take on this movement? What is happening in our what is your assessment of what is happening in the political scene? Because for me now, like we started with saying, we don't have an opposition. In my opinion, the judiciary has never been functional. The parliament is now, we don't have this side or the other side. The executive is one. So what is your take of what is happening? And what do you think is should be the way forward? Karibu.
Asanteni sana Kimuzi and BT and all who are in this space. And I'm happy really to be here. And I think those of you who have followed, I have been very consistent in terms of participating in many X spaces and commenting in terms of what's happening in our country, and sometimes writing about it and all that. Even today, I was able to say that Raila is no longer Baba, and really he has let down, Kenyans, young people, and it's really very regrettable because for a long time people have thought that he is a driver of reforms, of the evolution of the constitution and all that. For some of you who may know, in the second liberation, that is the fight for the Katiba, I was very much involved, especially in NCC, National Convention Executive Council, as the spokesperson of that movement. And we did a lot of work in civil society at the universities with young people, students, and young people in civil society to progress the Constitution of which became the Constitution of 2010. So when I come to these spaces, I am still, even in my relative old age, pursuing that reform agenda, that change of our country, what the Gen Zs and the millennials are doing to get our country to be a working country. So I really believe in this, and even in our work in Makueni, although Mkenya did not seem to know quite a bit of what we did, but even
in our work, Makueni, we really tried to get a government which promoted what people wanted done, and with public participation, with value addition, with universal healthcare and all that kind of stuff. Now, for me, this movement is actually...
Mbiti, I don't know if I'm the only one who's not hearing anything from this space. Ama ni kila mtu.
No, it's audible. It's audible. Maybe let me drop you and then I bring you back on. I believe everyone is anaskia, Prof.
Okay, personally, I can't hear. Please drop me. Then.
So let me drop you and then I bring you back. Continue, Prof.
So I was saying that the first major movement in Kenya for our freedom was the independence movement, Mau Mau. And again, even that Mau Mau was sabotaged by the political class. The people who, the Jomo Kenyatta, a lot of those political people, apart from Jaramogi, Odinga, Bildad Kagia, but it was also sabotaged because the British were able to make them the leaders, and the Mau Mau people did not feature as such. When we also did the second movement, that is the movement for multi-party and movement for the constitution, with some of the political opposition, again, the political opposition went to Moi, including Raila, in the IPPG. So again, the political opposition and the government came together, and that second movement, its power was diluted, and it was sidelined. And that is exactly what is happening in terms of the Gen Z movement, because this movement, one can say, has the power of Mau Mau in a different way. And even the demonstrations that you have been able to have cannot be likened to the demonstrations we used to have in the 90s. And your ability to use internet and all that, to use IT and all that, social media, and your way of organizing. So I believe in this movement. I am on record, and when I come to meetings and all that, like with John Allen Namu and places, because I can see that if we lose the power of this movement, it is likely that our country is going to go the ways of Sudan, the ways of South Sudan, the ways of these countries which have failed, including even a country like South Africa, which one didn't think that it could fail, but it is failing. And you have the opposition mad in corruption and in all those things, and not being able to deliver to the people. So the one thing that I want to say is your movement is very powerful, because if it wasn't, even with the losses and the deaths and all that and the brutality and all that, if it wasn't powerful, Ruto would not have invited Raila into the government. He would not have shared a government with anybody. So even the fact that he's been forced to share the government by people who are greedy means that he has felt the power of the movement. Of course, one thing that, and this has been said here, it is clear that whenever he was giving things which looked like concessions, they were not really concessions. Because whether it's the finance, withdrawal of the finance bill, Finance Act rather, then he signs the Appropriation Act so that the budget is being implemented as is. When he says that the cabinet, he has withdrawn people, most of them have come back, and we are not seeing quality in even the new ones, a lot of quality even in the new ones. So it is really it's really a game. And he said, okay, you think you guys are smart, I'll show you, I really am very smart. So what I know of the political class on the whole, maybe there are some exceptions, as you have indicated, but at the end of the day, both government and opposition will go to bed together when it suits them and when there's a challenge, just like during Mau Mau, during the NCA-NCC times, and during now the Gen Z times. And I think for Raila, maybe he has seen that he might not get the AU thing, and he has seen that he's now at the tail beat of his political career. So if he comes, he comes to bed with the president, it's okay for him. And even I'm not sure among those other politicians who are still saying that they will not get into the so-called government of national unity, the Kalonzo, Wamalwa, and so on and so forth. I would myself, I have considerable confidence in Martha Karua. Historically, at least she was of a progressive bent. But it's up to you to look at, if ever you want to do some work with some of the politicians, it's up to you to examine them so that we don't get the same thing like after the Arab Spring, when the people who replaced the departed government were still people of the old order. So that in North Africa, even after the Arab Spring, you didn't get fundamental change, which really, and I think the change you're asking for, apart from the details, it's just implement the constitution. Just make sure everybody counts. Make sure that there is, opportunity for the young people, like what Mkenya said about Kila Nyumba Kalila. That meant to every person the opportunity. And I think he when he said that we brought some milk from Mount Kenya, even if that was so, which it wasn't. I mean, you guys have to talk about the whole Kenya. You can't talk about any part not being together and so on and so forth. But I think you're asking for just decency, no corruption, implementation, and these are very, 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 very good things to ask for, because that is what we don't want our country to be a failed state like the other countries. So when you are dealing with the politicians, you will always know, the old politicians, you will always know that they can trick you. Some of them can come to you thinking that they are doing, they are well, and they mean well, and so on. So it's up to you to choose very well. But I would myself recommend that you consider, first of all, there are details of part of why the police are coming into Zimmerman, Githurai, and so on. According to them, they believe that's where most of the people come to demonstrate come from. So they come there to intimidate, so that people will start saying, we can't go back, we can't go to the demonstrations again. So this is strategy from the government side that you need to understand. That's what I myself think is the reason for the police into the night coming into people's homes and so on and so forth. I think that even if you decide that you are going to have a political party or political parties, keep the movement intact, so that there is a movement, and if you want a political expression, the political expression is different, so that the movement becomes the major thing. Like now, what you're saying is faceless, is classless, is tribeless, is all those things, because that's really the engine which will create the change that is required. And a party is something that will work later. If you wish to a party or parties, whatever you want to do, if you want to go that. So that would be one of the most important things. The movement must never be allowed to die, and it is the primary thing. And if you have a political expression, it is a subsidiary thing, because we know parties which are not driven by movements, we know that they turn out to be, people can get bought and all that kind of stuff. But you maintain your movement, even when sometimes you disagree, because people will try to make you disagree. You come back to each other, you share notes and all that kind of stuff. And I like the fact that truly the leaderless bit, which people don't understand, is the fact that just like the Black Lives Matter movement, the Occupy Wall Street movement, there are movements where there is functional leadership. If there's a task to be done, people do that. Like now, what you are doing, some people do this. If people have to go and get taken to hospital, other people do that. If there's a concert, they will do that. That's the new way, like, some of the books are saying in terms of how organization these days is happening. It's not the old thing where there is one person who is on top and, other people defer to them and all that kind of stuff. So it is a new way of organizing, and I think it is potent, and it should continue that way. If you wish, the people like us who were in the second liberation, we said that we can't come into your movement because we don't want to look like we are usurpers or we are coming to take over or stuff like that. But if ever you are ready to get some people to have an advisory role and you vet them properly, better than how these cabinet secretaries will be vetted, I'm sure. Even when you look at some of the conversations, you can see who would not have a problem coming to advise, and you work with them. But the most important thing is how to make a new leadership out of, because the people who are involved are in their 40s, are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. And we know from other places, we have seen leadership of 30-something being prime minister, even the MPs who are being elected, but if you let this thing get defeated, then Kenya will be a failed state. I can say that without, any fear of contradiction. Kenya will be a failed state. And finally, if I can speak about the IDs. First of all, when you're 18 and you don't have an ID, it's a crime. So if the system does not want to give IDs, it means that it is actually getting young people to be to commit crimes, because it's a crime not to have an ID when you're 18. And this is one thing that should just be pushed, so that all places where the IDs are given, sometimes in huko villages or wherever, huko kwa chief or sijui kwa nani, mahali watu wana apply, there has to be a movement of going there consistently mpaka watu wanasema kwamba lazima wapate, because the system knows in the last elections 8 million people didn't vote who are already registered, and about 3 to 4 million had not registered, and they were 18 and above, and there was also a group among those ones who didn't have IDs at 18. Now the Gen Zs who are 15, 16, and 17 as of now, those ones now will be able to vote. The Gen Zs who are 15, 16, and 17 will be able to vote in 2027. So if they don't have IDs, if they don't register as voters, then it means that a significant number of the young people will not come to vote. And this is one thing that the system is going to try as much as possible to get the young people not to vote, to get the diaspora people not to vote, and so on and so forth. So, as I
Professor.
conclude, yeah.
Oh, yeah, concluding. Yeah. No problem. Kindly wind up.
Yes, sure. So as I conclude, I can just say, you guys, you have something big. It's influencing Africa, and please just, this has to be done. And any help you need from wherever you need, I'm sure you'll get it. Not help of these things, propaganda of the Ford Foundation and stuff, but intellectual help, academic help, whatever help that you require. Thank you, Kimuzi, and all of you.
Shanky, you can go on.
Hello guys, I hope mko poa. So I had some few points that I wanted to make. Zingine prof amesema ni vitu tu nilikuwa analyze situation vile iko and nika realize. So one of the things me personally I feel like tuna approach this thing wrongly because we are winning na gava inafanya tukae ni kama we are not winning ama whatever we are doing is not working. Sorry, whatever we are doing is not working, like they're intentionally making us to feel sisi to feel hivyo ndio tujidoubt, but we are winning na it's working, and I feel like wase wengi like we are losing the plot na we are losing it juu maybe wase wengi tukianza hii fight hawakuwa wanajua like what we are dealing with. Watu wengi hawakuwa wanajua the extent, but watu wenye walikuwa wanajua wana like hatuyuko emotional. Wase wengi saizi wako emotional. Wase wengi anytime Ruto plays his card tunakuwa emotional, watu wanaanza kusema sijui we need leaders, sijui nini, like mambo tu mingi. Ni kama tulikuwa tuna expect to fight na yetu amenyamaza, like yetu like kuna fight na mtu na yeye amekaa tu hapo anangoja apigwe tukikuja kwa hii staff tulikuwa tunajua tukirusha anarusha, so win yetu itakuwa determined na tunaweza rusha mara ngapi. Unaona, so one of the things like nazitaka kuwakumbusha ni tumekuwa tukiwin na bado tunaendelea kuwin, na msisahau hivyo. Ruto mwenyewe alikuwa vile alijoin alisema kuna hiyo clip inazunguka, alisema haizi work na Raila, like haizi work na opposition kwa gava, but saizi amekuwa forced, ameingisha opposition, na nataka mrealize that Ruto is not like a new person to most of us. Si tulikuwa tunamjua before hata tuanze vita. Kenya amekuwa akifanya, mi ukiniuliza, kuna jamaa tiela anaitwa Mugo. Umsi alikuwa na organize he's a Kalenjin from huko Eldoret. Alikuwa na organize hizo protests za Eldoret, ana gather young people from campus. Alipigwa na malocals. Ni msetu hapo TL naweza waonyesha, hata naweza tag hiyo picha yake akiwa hosi, like alipigwa manze na malocals mpaka akaenda akakaa hosi for some time, sijui kama ametoka, but alikaa hivyo, na vile alitoka aliambiwa asionekane tena kwa streets. Unaona, mpaka I think sijui ako hiding or something. So vile mi ukiniuliza mi vile na feel tangu hiyo mse apigwe, like kumekuwa na hizo story ukisikia kwa young people from Eldoret that kuna media blackout Eldoret, ndio maana mastori hazifiki, na pia watu wanatishiwa, so watu wanaogopa kutokea hiyo. Na vile prof amesema hiyo, kenye prof amesema about wasiwa Githurai na wasiwa huko place watu walininiwa jana Zimmerman, vile wanakutwa like ni kuintimidate ndo wasitokee protest. Ime make sense juu Eldoret watu walikuwa na nini wanapigwa na kuna media blackout ndo wasitokee. Zimmerman kumbe ni the same. Ukiangalia Rao, mi personally na feel one of the reasons Rao pia ameletwa ni kufanya protest ikuwe kidogo, like protest ikuwe ni kama ni kitu ya a certain group of people. Juu sasa amedhani akileta Rao akutakuwa na protest huko Kisumu, Siaya, juu pia huyo msee sijui Opiyo ni msee huko Siaya, huyu Obado ni msee huko Homa Bay, so nani anaitwa nani upse Oparanya ni wa Kakamega. Unaona Kakamega kumekuwa na protest mpaka walipiga guns. Siaya the same. Homa Bay, Migori hata kulikuwa na jana. So hawa wase pia wameletwa wa huko ndio hizi protest, like Kenya anafanya ni anajaribu ku contain the situation, na sisi tuoni like sisi tuna lose hiyo focus. Badala saizi tunafaa tutumie hiyo opportunity kuonyesha watu, unaona hawa ni mapoliticians, hawa say the same, hakuna mtu different, like tusikuwe emotional, tujue tulikuwa tuna expect a play your game, na the more tunaendelea ku move, the more tunaendelea ku fight, the more tunawa expose. So the fact that tunawa expose ni a win for us, but sijui mi na feel kama sisi hatuioni hivyo. So other thing ni unaona tukianza ku ile time ya finance bill au politicians kulikuwa na wasi wa ODM ama wasi wa Azimio na wasi wa upande ingine. So wasi wa upande mwingine wote walivote yes, wasi wengi, wasi wa huku kwingine walivote no. Na watu walikuwa wameanza resistance against watu wa yes. So from place mi nimekaa, mi naona pia hii ni kitu yenye Prezo anajaribu Prezo alikuwa na lose parliament. But saizi vile analeta wase hatutakuwa like watu wenye walivote no watakuwa ni kama like hata hawa naona watasupport ama CS watawapitisha. Na sasa ile rage yetu against watu wenye walivote yes ita reduce, like tutaona hawa sendi the same. So unaona hatutawa box kwa ati ni watu wa Ruto, unaona. Sijui kama mna get kenye na feel. So hivyo ndo mi naona like and if ameleta ma CS ni atatuchanganya bado sisi akili tuone kumbe like atatuchanganya akili tuone kumbe tusi watu wa Ruto. So ile wenye tulikuwa tumeenda kwa wasi wa Ruto tulikuwa tumeamua tupige wasenye walivote yes, hatutaona ni wao like our sendo wabaya, tutai imagnify kwa kila mtu. So yeye hatakuwa victim peke yake, watakuwa wengi yeye na Rao. So ni kama ameingisha pia Rao kwa shida. So mi na feel tunafaa tu tuendelee na demonstration vile iko. Na feel hii mambo zenye tunataka kuanza za leadership zitatuchanganya, sijui ma political parties, because na feel tumecreate something great manzi, na na feel hatujui the extent of kenye tume create. Like mi utembea huku streets, watu wana like we're emancipating people's minds sana, na hawa si wa huku hawajui hata hizi vitu ati watu wana converge on Twitter. Wao wanajua tu young people tuko na the same voice. Ulisikia Polo Kimani alisema vile alishikwa, watu walikuwa wanajua ati LSK wanakuja kutoa watu walikuwa wamekuja huko juu wanajua manzi si tunajipigania. Sasa mi nashangaa hata tukianza sijui kuform political party, sijui ma leaders, tutachagua aje au ma leaders, tuta make sure aje majenzi wote wako in sync na hiyo leadership. Na hiyo ndo kitu gava wanataka kutu break. Saizi hizi hizi vitu zenye hizi ma CS wasi, unaona watu watajitoa kwa maandamano polepole juu wanataka kutu break. Na tukibado hiyo kuleta ma leaderships juu nini political parties at this particular time, na feel itatu break. Na feel hiyo ni kitu inafaa ikuje after tume move, but at this particular time na feel ita make sure itafanya tena watu wengine wa step back, watu wengine waone kumbe hii kitu haiwezi. Na like tunafanya kitu poa. Uganda wanatuangalia, Ghana sijui walikuwa waanze yao, like kitu yenye tunadu ina work, na gavo anataka kutuonyesha hai work, na tusiwache watu onyeshe hai work. Hiyo divide and rule ndio nini moja ya Ruto, na mi sitaki like na feel like we shouldn't let it you win. Saizi as I finish, saizi na feel vile wao wamekuja pia sisi, unaona wale ma-artist, unakumbuka zile time ya finance bill, mi kitu inanikasirisha kwanza ni ma-artist walijoin time ya finance bill, after imeanguka wakajitoa. Sasa hizi tunafaa tuanze kucall out ma-artist. Tunachiki vile tulicall out ma-artist, ma-brands, juu nini, kina Kate. Tuanze tena tuwaulize kama wewe una support regime ama una support the people of Kenya. Like saizi tufanye to go to rogue gorilla tu, na both kwa internet na kwa ground, like kwa internet to make sure au wasanii sijui nini vile tulifanyia time ya finance bill, watu waambie are you supporting the government ama are you supporting the people of Kenya. Hakuna in between hivyo, juu saizi wamenyamaza, wanarushaga tu mapost moja wanaingia nyasi. But tunafaa tu like to make sure tu kutoka saizi lines ziko straight, kila mtu anajua ana fall on which side.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I want to say it was a mistake to give Kibwana a platform hapa. A very big mistake. Because hajatuambia anything new from what nimesikia. Actually, he was lobbying for us to go to him atupatie advice. I'd like to say Kibwana, if Ruto angekupatia chance, sasa ungekuwa CS, aungekuja hapa kutuambia I know that. So as much as umepatia platform, it was a huge mistake, and whatever you said, we rub it off, imeingia kwa masikio katoka kwa wengine. So next speakers, kindly, it was a mistake but a politician. What? Anyway, who is the next speaker? MMS Choir.
Patia Bosire.
Okay. Bosire
But now
Dr. Benjamin.
so many kanyagia wire every
I
time I
think
try to speak. I hope you
Bosire.
can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Fantastic.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yani mi hata nashanga saizi vile wasi wanaanza kuongea stories za 2027. How do we strategize for 2027 yet now we continue to experience economic crimes, human rights violations, abuse of office and the assault to the media? How? Juzi Kasmuel aliuliza, you cannot ask me, alisema, you cannot ask me about what next when I don't know about now. Mi nashangaa sasa vile wadau wanaanza kupanga stories za 2027. And then there's this consistent question, what is the strategy? Wase, 25th June we started the strategy. And we have been very consistent. And our strategy has 3 prongs. The first prong ni unity. Tumekuwa very united. Yani hata kuna wasi hatukuwa tunaonanga hapa kwa hii streets eye to eye, but now we have one clear goal. Good governance, accountability, and for people to be prosecuted for all the crimes they've committed, both criminal and civil. Wale wasi wamejaribu kubaiwa, tumewatupa, pia tumewatema. And that's very important. Sitawa mention majina ni kuwapea platform. Na saizi kuna list imekuwa shared hapa kwa social media, every single person who's been bought during this period by Gava wasi wa 530. Wadi platform wote. The second thing, we have been very consistent on communication. I mean, strategies, that's my work. And in our effective communication, we've known what our next steps have been. We've garnered, we've stopped to look at our successes. What have our successes been? Because they're buying on, I'm very fatigued emotionally, I'm very fatigued physically. That's very normal, by the way. I feel dejected. Today morning, I woke up and told some of my close friends, na feel niko down kabisa. Man, until Ruto akarelease your cabinet yake ya pili. Nikajiambia we, inject more. So the important thing that we have maintained effective communication, and we must maintain effective communication. The other third thing is that najua saizi kuna msali bonga mchana akisema ati sahi we become rowdy, we become violent. No, we are not burning, we are not stealing, we are not destroying, we are not going to lose human life. Hakuna msatadili kwa mkono yetu, because that's the tool that the masters have been using. We cannot use the same tool to bring down the oppressor. We have to think about other alternative tools. So violence cannot be our term because it's unconstitutional, it's against our statute, it's criminal. So at no particular point can we go out of what we already have, as we have statutes and we have a constitution that guides us in terms of how it is that we act. And this has been our, by the way, hii ndio imekuwa tulia tu. Hata umesikia Buda Professor Kibonga akasema at least that's a thing, because hakuna kitu out of the ordinary tunaitisha vitu kwa constitution. Now, the other thing, and by the way, nimoteki alanamu hapa, power to you bro, mainstream media wanasema you cannot shoot the messenger. So unafaa kushoot nani? Mwenye anapeana message, which is CC, peaceful protesters. You know, what were they saying? I mean, you also must actually choose a side. And the side that you must choose is the side of justice. Is the side of human rights, safeguarding of human rights. Amwezi sema ati leo kwanza amereceive na IG. Mshaona peaceful protesters wakireceive na IG ama ni mabullets. Wanawapia story. And then you guys, from yesterday night until today, if it was not citizen journalism, hakuna tumesema kwa media about what's happening in Zimmerman, what's happening in Githurai. Ni saizi tu Larimado jana ndiye alikuwa zima. Kidogo sasa hivi kuna video yake ya mwisho anasema before mayuto walikuwa na dance kidogo wanakuwa disperse na mabullets. Mko wapi nyinyi? What stories are you? And then you keep platforming this regime. You keep giving them time. You're the same people who this government told that watacha ku advertise na nyinyi kwa sababu you are anti-government. Your work is to be objective. Your work is to be impartial. Your work is to report the news as it is. It's not to distort facts. Why are you distorting facts by giving one regime, less than 1,000 people, a huge platform to propel their lies? and to cover up their crimes. Why? Where is the objectivity? Alafu then when you start seeing them, they're coming for kina Alanamu, wanaanza kusema they are being funded. No, all of us who work, even you, if you work in healthcare, at one particular point umekula paracetamol imenunuliwa na mzungu, ama imenunuliwa na some person. Even vaccines zile tunapea watu hii, Gavi, who gives Gavi the most money? So nobody should tell you here we are bought. No, then that means your healthcare, your education is bought. Somebody else is paying for it. So we can't use that. So when they come and then you platform them that way, and then you give them airtime about that. Munapea singole platform akamkudanganya wase. And then it's tips ndio tunaenda tunatafuta, tuna realize he was actually a beneficiary of their funders. So that cannot be the thing. You must remain objective. Now, let me tell you guys, if we don't do this now, we don't make our country right now, the next regime will use the same tactics which have been replicated from the Moi era until now. Kuna msee amesema angalia skodi sahi ya Ruto ameweka sahi. Hiyo ni ile skodi ya baba aliingia nayo. Hiyo ndio from Kanu times. Moi before he died he said Kanu is going to rule for 100 years. It just keeps changing form. Inajita Azimio, inajita ODM, inajita Ford, inajita Kenya Kwanza. It is still the same tactics. And that's why violence for them becomes the one tool to be able to reduce protest. It instills fear. It makes people feel like, you know what, we live at their mercy. I need people to know we have 50 million against motherfuckers who are less than 1,500. That's a fact. That's a fact. So we must be able, these progenies of Moi, by the way, let me tell you, in the last tweet I wrote, I told Baba how he has massacred the constitution. But I said this is the end of us looking up to this man, personally, old man. And I say this as a kid who grew up in Kibra, where he was my MP for more than 15 years. And I said, that's the end. And the end meaning, and this is one of the things, even if we rubbish what Professor said, is this is the beginning of a new era. It's a beginning of defining what politics look like in this country. It's a beginning of defining what accountability looks like according to Article 6, Article 10. It's a beginning of what we want the governing structures to look like for this country. I heard somebody say that you must organize in a political party. Why do we need to organize in a political party? Right now we are cleaning house. Unawezaje kuja saizi unaanza kupanga cabinet hapo na ma TV ukitoa ukiweka masofa set na chini bado hujaosha. Clean the house first. So we are cleaning the house. And you know the beautiful thing about we have a structure in which we can clean this house. So na bado ndio tumeanza. Now, someone is also now cumulatively we're asking about strategy. So I said about 3 things that you must maintain. You must maintain unity, effective communication, and anchor every action that we take on the rule of law. Already we have multiple approaches. Now what's next? We already have peaceful protests. We have social media because now mainstream media may decide inafanya vile inafanya. We have the citizen media. Recording everything. Civic education ile may happen saizi in the last 1 month has not happened since this country got its independence. Unapata juzi mama mboga amesema mimi nimekaa mko barabara mtu wangu ameniexplainia nikarealize umse alikuja kwa soko. Hapo Githurai they went. Pale wanashoot sai wase. Walikuwa Githurai hapo sokoni wakiambia hustler. Sasa jana walienda kwa mahasla kwa mada. They went there. The one who went on campaign on the back of hustlers has gone back to the hustlers to kill them. And we must ask ourselves that every time there's a protest, why do they target poor people? Why? First say education, healthcare, security, maji, food. Yani ana struggle it's hand to mouth. Alafu anarudi hapo atakuja tena hapo wachaperuabe. Angalia mafala wa bodaboda. Mini doki, mbiti yako hapa. Anakusho wanapatanga ma accidents zingine mbovu kwa barabara. Wanakaa mhosi, mnaanza kuambia unajua ni aje, this is a compound fracture we need a plate. Gava inuangi plate. Wewe unafaa uende kwa familia yako the plate is more than 300,000. Mtaita harambe ngapi za watu wa bodaboda ngapi? So jana tunaona they are the ones who are bought and looters, you know, hao ndio wanakamwa kwa magoons. It is very wrong. That means kuna places that tujapopulate na tunafaa populate vizuri. So the other strategy is to think about where are the professional bodies for these people. Wakwapi farmers, wakwapi waswa boda, wakwapi waswa mtani mayut. Hapo ndio pia tunafaa kuingia. Na hizi vitu azifanyike ati sijui phase 1 phase 2. They happen concurrently. Tumesema ni aje Thursday tuko hapa na hapa tunaenda celebrate our heroes and heroines. Tuko hapo. Hapo saa tu bado tuko na wasi wa boda. Hapo tuko na mafarmers. Hapo tuko na wamadha. Msi amesema ati you know this voter suppression is going to be very tricky for us to be able to choose the leaders. See, our parents have ID cards. Me, I'm a millennial, I have an ID card. So how are we leveraging? What is the low-lying fruit? The low-lying fruit is to make sure Stella Bosire votes right. The low-lying fruit ni kukaa kwa paro wako na ama uncle zako na cousins. Mwambie ni aje kabla sisi hizo ma ID zetu sahi watakuwa na voter suppression, you people must vote right. Najua watakuja kwa line waambie vitu zingine wakupatie ruabe. Mimi sikwambii uchukue ruabe msichukue ruabe, lakini pesa ijaandikwa, pesa ijaikuwa mbaya kama wewe ni maskini, but enda pale make your own decision. Enda pale make your own decision. Chukua hiyo dona ukitoka umrudishie umwambie shika pesa yako. Mimi nimevote independently. You must be able to do that. As I finish, whatever method we use, be it social media, be it physical, be it when we write op-eds, you know, kuna wale si unaandika tu vi bold. Kuna msee amesema hapo hezi tumada akatumada si wote. More than 70% of us are young people between the ages of 15 and 40 in this country. Hezi tumada wakamada si wote. That space ile uko nayo, we must use multiple approaches. We are creating history as a country, and we are anchoring it on democracy. Na msiasi wauzie fear hapa at you are going the Sudan way. And I felt very uncomfortable when you use Sudan as an example as a Pan-Africanist. I mean, we all have to be uncomfortable when an African country bleeds. So we are creating history as the first country within the continent that will push out a regime, a rogue regime, but will push out anchored on the law. That we are not going to do anything, atuta after shortcuts, atuta watu, atutafanya nini, atutaiba. Apana, we will not tell this country. We will anchor it on the law. And then when we objectively look at this constitution and say, ni wapi tulikosea? Ni wapi hatuna terms of reference? Kama saizi, madre saizi inaanza, msiwa madre, na which is true, which is a fact. Iko hapo mbele. Msi ako na corrupt, ako kwa hii, undanyi saizi, ni undanyi, not undanyi, what's his name? Oparanya. Juzi imeona media ime-highlight. Wako na economic crimes. Unapewa. Sasa kazi yetu ni, si kuchange your constitution, ni kuenda kuireform. Tutaandika hiyo time yetu wenye tusha clear house. Saa zile unakuja, hii constitution ilitupatia a broad base. We are going to break it down into who can be a cabinet secretary, who can be a member of parliament, who can be an MCA, who can take up leadership in this country. We will define them. Lakini where we are right now, Banawase, we have a perfect structure. We have a perfect structure that will get us to the next point. Msiasi kuenjoy ati saizi tumetoka ati what next? We're already there. Saizi tuna hold space moja, hakuna politician anaweza mobilize wase hivi. And so the other thing wameshindwa to infiltrate again is the power of our voice, which is on social media. And the beautiful thing that we are doing in the social media is asino asama fact. Ona kama unaleta story yako tunakupea tu facts. Nimecheki msee leo anaitwa aje mother wa kudance. Akisema we are sexist. Me, I'm a feminist. All of you know that. Asema we are being sexist by asking about the current minister for defense who has been not current nominated. Sexism is appointing someone who does not have the qualification. Sexism is tokenism. You're giving someone a docket that they have no qualification about. If you compare that person with their counterpart in other countries, then you ask yourself, Bana, what is that? That's sexism in my world. Sexism is being able to subvert the constitution. Sexism is not recognizing that the will of the people is the will of the people. And we are the people. We are the people, wasi. We are the people, tafadhali. Msiwai sahau hivyo. Hata mkidozi leo na tulale atulie. Msisahau we are the people. Na wasi, by the way, wameogopa. Mjorezo leo wameogopa. Alikuwa amechapa kifua akaona manzi hawa vijana hawa relent. Akadecide sasa ni aje anaendea mzae. Leo nimeambia mzae point blank. Nikaambia mimi I've supported you. But let me tell you, you have massacred, you have miscarried, you have broken down our constitution. That's a legacy I'll remember you for. That's a legacy we'll remember him for. Hakuna story nyingine ati msee ataanza kutuambia 1992, 19 fact that those years. It is how you finish. It is how you finish. And he's chosen to finish when 60 plus blood of our comrades is on the ground. When mothers are burying their children prematurely. Hakuna mother, hakuna parent anataka kuzika mtoi wake. Every parent says, I want my child to bury me. but they've made mothers bury their own children. They've made fathers cry publicly. Buda Rex alilia. Anasema mtu wangu amemadwa lakini atikuwa kara walimshoot bado anatembea. Mama Eric alisema nini? Alisema Ruto, si una watoi. Never know peace. Msiogope kuongea. Msiogope. Penda ule comrade alisema we will die eventually. Mbiti na mimi doctor, we will die eventually. But the other way in which we have to ask ourselves, are we dying in dignity or are we dying without dignity? That's the thing. And so, by the way, we are already dying metaphorically. Sazile unakama hapo unakosa mpaka za cabbage. Wewe landlord kila siku anakufungiaga na kifuli 3. Uwezi peleka watoi wako shule fiti ama uwezi pata kosa unataka. Uwezi access capital kwa mabanks kwa sababu pia wametook over banks. You can't do that. You cannot do that. And if you cannot do that, then fundamentally, you are already dead. Wewe unamkanga tu when you living dead. When you go, you are a ghost. Hakuna vile unaweza niambia ati we are trying to live, right? What are you living? Una live nini saizi? Na wana loot. Una live nini saizi? Uko na mse kama DVD na kama anaitwa parliament anasema ati ilikuwa senate ama ilikuwa wapi? Anasema ati hapana tujauza JKIA alafu JKIA inatoa statement. Si wajinga wasi. Alafu you know the brilliant thing is that you are all educated. Formally or informally. Manze tunashikanisha. Kama tukishikanishi, kama Kimuzi ashikanishi law ataniambia Bosire hebu ni interpret. Kama mimi sishikanishi mambo za account, mimi nitatafuta soko analyst. Mambo za business, mambo za economy. Kuna mse kwa hii movement anaelewa hizi vitu. Mkikwama kwa healthcare mtakamniambia ni aje bosi. Sasa hebu tu unpack shift. By the way, acha nisianze story ya shift. Mkidhani JKN ndio take over, mnafahamu anze kujiuliza kwa nini sasa hii Medi hili imeangushwa? Kwa nini sasa hii NHIF imeangushwa? Kwa nini shift? Na kwa nini ukiangalia most of those appointments in the chairs of those subsidiaries which are for shift, which right now are unconstitutional, zilikuwa zimepewa wasi wako affiliated to Orezo, the former chairperson for example for Amaco. Anda kudunini uko digital, una competency gani? Alafu ile kitu mimi napenda ni our facts are, mimi usinipe job jili mimi niko na nyap, mimi ni dem. Ama kwa sababu unani tokenize, it's tokenism. Nipatie job ukijua naweza chapa hii job. Alafu nipe terms of reference. Terms of reference zangu ni ABCDFGH. Let me deliver. And then nikwe appraised. Mimi sijui kwa nini hawa sio wakisha kuwa appointed, they don't go back to that parliament to be appraised. Hiyo ni job gani? You must go back to the people who employed you. The people who to appraise you, your performance. Aki appraise performance yako anauliza ABCDFGH. But because we already are rotten from the top, we cannot even put such accountability structures to be able to check out on people and say, this is a good leader, this one aende home. That is the country we want. That is where we are heading. Wacha nikunywe maji. Asante. Kimuzi, back to you.
All right, thank you so much.
Milan.
So I'll give the next speakers in this order. Wamengoja sana.
Milan. Milan, nawachia calls juu there is something I want to do for the next 2 hours or 3, and nimesikia chenye Bosira amesema. Actually, the 2 days ago, or it was 1 day ago, I hosted the brother to Shieni, Eric Shieni. If you remember Eric Shieni, who was shot outside parliament. And one thing he said, alisema, do it for my brother. Alisema, hajaiona kitu kaa hiyo. And one thing anasema chenye tu alikuwa happy naye peke yake ni that the brother never struggled. Ilikuwa headshot. Like anasema, don't relent kwa hii fight. Just do it for my brother. I really wish I'll play, nitatafuta that clip I played for you. It was so sad kusikia hiyo. It was so sad kusikia akisema, what will I tell my mother? Yeye ashajua Shieni ameenda and hajui chenye ataambia madhe. Madhe anangoja your brother ako wapi? You know. So chenye Bosira amesema, it's so, watu wanaona it's from a point of radical point of view, but it's no longer a radical point of view. We are just being realistic, but we are being realistic in a hard manner. That's the language of hardliners. All ya tunajua. Thank you. Let me sit the mic. I'll be off for 3 hours. Kindly give mostly small wigs. Juu hao ndio wako na voice pia sana and they have ideas.
Asante sana Kimuzi. Sixus, nimecheki 6,000. Uko mkono yako iko juu, unaweza bonga. Alafu utafollow na Carol na X Holding.
Yeah. I want to say this. First of all, we'll win this war if we are able to see through the bullshit that is happening right in front of our eyes. So that is if we decide to filter what information we are consuming and from who, when, why, and how. Why am I saying this? I had Shanky mention the likes of these content creators, social media, whatever. I was giving a good example of Caliph Cairo to a certain group, and I said Cairo went out to protest because there was a motor vehicle tax that was introduced, which was going to affect his business directly. Hawa watu wa TikTok walitoka because kulikuwa na some tax with digital content creation or something. So it angered them and they left their houses to go out there and fight. And after the finance bill was dropped, most of them walirudi their comfort zone. Now here there is me and you who believe there is hope for a better country, a country that can perform better, a country that has potential. And I actually say I'm an investor in this country, and my returns will be good governance, no corruption, no nepotism, no tribalism, no recycling of leaders. But we've been given an option to keep recycling leaders each and every time, and the political class is taking us for a ride. What do? We are not going to give up. We should wake up and go and fight. Personally, I'm not giving up. Yesterday, I was roughed up by goons along Outer Ring Road, kama nimeenda out for maandamano. Lost my specs, which I got today. And this war is not going to be won by one day. People who are now coming to give up, say, go get allies, go get what. When William Ruto realized that we do not have allies, he started purporting lies out there. Ford Foundation, whatever foundations, the opposition, they have cornered up to Uhuru Kenyatta, who doesn't even want to respond to them. And this is a point you should understand. This man is worried about whatever he's fighting. And the moment we decide to look for an ally, they will corner us. They'll go to those allies and they'll say, these are the people who are funding this movement. And the moment they get us to that point, it means we have lost. But if we stand strong and now face our big problem, and this goes to Kimuzi, this is our big problem. We are not uniting as a people on this app to go and project this information to the silent majority, to the majority of the people who have given up. There is something Professor said here, and I agreed with him. William Ruto was sending fear, and that's why he goes to Githurai Zimmerman. He's sending fear to these people because majority of those people, who are Tokyo 25th, they came from Thika Road. And akishaona hiyo mbogi ya Thika Road, when he kills that mbogi anaona ametuua. So he's sending fear so that people should not come out and say polisi wanaua. Now this makes us stronger. We should wake up. Kimuzi, go team up with all the possible people who have voices on this app, and we decide we will hold one major space. Pride tuweke kando. If it comes to this country, there is no pride. Kuna watu huku, they have a saying, tuamke na tuseme now it's time to wake up and go liberate this country. It is high time we have to
Is someone
unite.
speaking? Mnamsikia?
Tunamsikia.
It's high time we have to wake up. And the moment we wake up, that is when we will realize our full potential. Imagine Kenya will be hosting AFCON yet we don't have a stadium. My friend Kowino said somewhere, Gor Mahia, 20-time KPL champions, they don't have a stadium in Kenya. Yet Simba have a very good stadium in Tanzania. We are playing our games in Malawi. And who do we have as somebody in charge of sports? Murkomen. Is that enough? No. Oparanya has only built a road that goes until to his mother's door in Western, where the mother sells changa, which is an illicit brew, a type of alcohol that is killing millions of Kenyans. Joho is a drug dealer. Let us not even start mentioning other people. We are not ready to take this bullshit. I'll tell all Kenyans right now, this is the time. Now is the time to wake up. Wake up from your sleep. You are not fighting for Kimuzi. You are not fighting for Bosire. You are not fighting for me. You are fighting for yourselves. And the moment you realize that you're fighting for yourself, that is when you'll get power. You'll get that energy to go out on those streets. Don't sleep. Hata hii maandamano tuache kufikiria that ni Tuesday peke yake. Tuamke basi tukamp tao. If William Ruto wants to kill all the 50 million of us, let him kill all of us. Let him come and kill all of us. Me personally, nilishasema, I'm not afraid to die. And I'm saying this, I'm responsible for the words that I'm saying here, William Ruto. I will mobilize many youths to make sure that they see through your lies. If we keep on listening to this guy, he's a strategist who knows how to play his cards. And I'll tell you, right now he's thinking about 2027, whereby he has killed the opposition. He will not have any strong opposition going to those elections. But we should stand up and give him a challenge that will take him home early in the morning. And we are not taking him home in 2027. Before this year ends, William Ruto should be on his knees when he's being prosecuted and being sent to Shimo la Tewa or committee or ICC. Because when we are done, we will go down to each and every corruption case that has happened in this country. When I wind up, I'll tell you, there is somebody who told me, I'm winding up and say this, there is somebody who told me in the morning, why won't we partner up with these newspapers so that we can print information yenye itafikia watu? And this is the case, this is the story he told me. Even Aden Duale himself doesn't know about this maandamano that much. His KPIs for June and July was GSU, the Kenyan army walistopisha maandamano Nairobi town. Why? Because the PS wanawafikishia information yenye si mbaya. The PS are on these places. They come here to listen, then they come filter the information, wanapeleka. Hata information inafika huko juu pia ni ya uongo. And if we now start getting through these people, mtu akifungua gazeti hivi and all they can see is Gen Z, this and this happened. The other thing is about boycotting these companies that are saving their money with IMF, the likes of Akina Colgate. If you go and research, you'll get Colgate are among the biggest people who are saving their money with IMF, and they're still selling those products to us here, local. Anyways, I'll tell you lastly, wake up as Kenyans and fight. Thank you.
Asante. Carol Otieno, and then we have X-Holding. I think you have new speakers. Milan, maybe we have like 100 people who've requested. So if it's possible, ukame bonga tu tuite mse mwingine abonge alafu we consolidate our thoughts together. Go ahead, Carol.
Okay, thank you for the space. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so me naonge kama ordinary person mwenye anaonanga whatever is going on. I'm not able to participate in the protest because bado niko na watoto wadogo. And for that matter, mimi tu swali nauliza. Sisi sasa ndio tunaangalia tu morals, like we want to do things according to the constitution. But something funny, the president anasemanga is following the constitution, but it does against the constitution. So my question is, if we can play his game, vile afati anything to do with the constitution, we also do our things the way we know, the way we, in the right way, like kama wenye walikufa, polisi mwenye aliua ule nje ya parliament, hajashikwa hajafanywa anything. So my idea is huyo polisi tukimwona kwa streets, si hata sisi tumuue because already alishaua. We are waiting for the government or the IPOA to take the role or whatever they do, but so far they do nothing. Wanasema sijui witness waende watoe witness zao, but unaona hakuna kitu yenye wamefanya. So mimi, if we are continuing, we just do it the bad way, the way they are doing it. Mimi, as for Raila, niliacha kumsupport 2013. So anything he's doing now, I'm not surprised because after all, he's just a con man. And that is how I think all the politicians are. And for the movement, I would suggest maybe me and the few, we need to get our leaders. At least wenye wataongea, sasa ile kutupe psych, twende tuongee na watu pia mashinani. The thing that we are leaderless, we should change it. Yani, twende tuongee na watu uko ushago. Mimi, I'm talking to my dad because yeye pia alikuwa anasupportingi Raila so much, but in our house, sahi hata wameanza kuchange kwa sababu I tell them Raila ana vie against Ruto, anasema Ruto ni mbaya, alafu Ruto akisha win says watu wamekufa kwa streets, anaenda anapewa Kenya anapewa, anatulia. So nyinyi mnangojea Raila aongelee, but hakuna kitu yeye atasema juu ashapewa pesa amenyamaza. So me, anything to do with Raila, I'm not surprised, and that is him. Yeah, I just said those few words. Thank you.
Asante sana, Carol. I'm just going to say this before exfolding on Babonge, that right now the one tool that the government has to use, and this is a proven strategy for all the governments that have been pushed to the wall on accountability, is the criminal law. Kumaanisha, they will use the criminal law against you. Ukimada msee wanakukujia, ukiharibu property ya msee wanakukujia, ukitukana msee, not kutukana msee, if you go, against any crime, assault, harassment, everything wanakukujia. So msiwape kadi. You know, right now people have been talking about libel and saying that a lot of what's happening within social media, people will be prosecuted. Na mliona walifanya hivyo on Gaido Francis on the Data Protection Act and the computer misuse. But then there are 3 tests. Lawyers hapo watawaambia. Msezi kuambia tu ati leo ati you said something which is not true. It is actually the burden of proof is not on you to prove yourself you say the right thing. No, the burden of proof is on them. So ukiambia mse ka sisi magazetini parliament wase wamepelekwa kaambia wewe ni mse wa madre, wewe uko na kesi ya crime, economic crimes ziko hapo mbele, wewe utaambia tu magistrate ama judge, but these are things which are facts. So mse asikushtue, the facts remain factual, because the other thing nimeona pia ni propaganda. That's another thing that they are using. Musi fall into that temptation. But hapo kwa crime, by the way, that's the only thing. If you see what happened the other day, when they were doing postmortems of young people who were shot in City Mortuary, walisema ati ni mob justice. Mob justice gani na kuna mabullets? So hapo tu Karo ndio mimi naweza kukusihi tu. Hapo tu kwa aura ya crime tuweke nje. Lakini I love that you're doing at kwao yenu civil education. Asante. Ex-holding?
Yes, you can hear me?
Yes.
I was actually going to go with that on the fact that at least let us not make it easy for them, but to also make the work of Faith and the whole SK team easy, because there will be arrests as long as they're going to continue with this. There will arrests that will go with there, a lot of them. So let's make the work of the Faith and group very easy when they come for us at the courts or at the cells. So let's obey the law. The thing of targeting individual businesses, I'm against it. I will never participate in it. We have ways to deal with them. We are dealing with the government. I'm not dealing with Kimuzi. I'm not fighting Kimuzi as a person. I don't agree with, if he's in government, with his view and I want it removed. And the only way for him to be removed is either go through the constitutional way, which is longer, or through the Ruto way. Ruto must go, and that requires me to be on the street, peacefully seated for economic shutdown. That's one. Two, the last speaker, I think before me or just before you, who had said you want leaders. You don't want leaders. Because you see, they've been coming for leaders at first. They tried forming groups. They came for what they wanted 147 people to meet and all that kind of stuff. They didn't get. They came to funding. Ford didn't get. What was happening yesterday is trying to find tribe. There are none. Now, if you come, the leadership we have here is one. Unity, as the Daktari had said earlier. That's the leadership we have. We have no direct person, because even then if we have to get those ones, it's easy for them to target and not really kill them or what, just give them jobs. The politician you had put here earlier, the only thing is against Raila because he did not get a chance to begin a position. So yes, those people will be bought. Even if we have Dr. Daktari today, next given some seat in the government, the leadership goes. So we are left with nobody. We start recruiting again. So let's just stay with the way we are. It makes us easy to distance ourselves from those who will join the government at any point of this fight. So leadership thing, I don't know why it's a topic now. I don't know why it's a topic, and because there's been one of the things successful. They first came to us, then went to Raila. The reason why they went to Raila because they didn't have no leader. So Raila was coming in the sense to control as somebody has said, to make the demonstration, to lower the numbers of people on the streets. So no leader thing, please let it be our topic. Now, the second thing, for Raila thing, it's sad, but it has happened. And please, as I had spoken earlier, let's just know one thing. Any politician, the only reason why they're going to be on our side, the very politician that some of them one day voted no and was loud against no, but now is in government, or rather is going to be in government. I know Parliament is united, so it's going to go through. The vetting will be through. So please, anything politician, let them be away. Even they can come, they can join maybe in the street. You cannot lock them at home, but let them not identify as if they are the leaders. If they have something to share information online, we'll retweet, we'll read, extract what we have from whatever they have shared, use it, and confirm with other sources, use it. We have a lot of brains in different fields, but I don't think Buddha is the only sole person with something. No, honestly. And I know some of you even relate to the very politician you're talking about. You can extract that from them and share it maybe directly or anonymously. So please, the politician thing, leadership thing, let that thing of the past, let it be gone. My concern, as I was asking earlier, just one. This thing of the long game, honestly, it's 2027, it's parliamentary, it's recall. That is pure bullshit. It's not going to work. So the only weapon you have, you can talk the whole day, taking time off Mandamana and everything. But the only thing that will work as I speak today is constant daily protest from 7 a.m. to 5, or is it 6, the time for, as per the constitution, 6 or 6:30, somewhere there, daytime that is. And then you wake up tomorrow again, you start the same thing in a quiet, peaceful way. You can sit. You don't even have to go to town. For me, I live in Eastlands. I can decide to either block, sit on the road, Jogo Road, or even this other highway, the outer ring. It will still functional. Let everybody get inconvenienced to pass a message. Also denying the government, the county government, and the government at large money to steal. If we can do that one between now and vetting, even the MPs at Parliament will see, this, as they call us, these Gen Zs or these kids, they're still on this game and they're really, really serious. But if by the time they're vetting, things are quiet to plan one day more, they'll just do their thing on a Tuesday. If we go to them on a Tuesday, they can do their thing on Tuesday, on Monday, and then on Wednesday, and then on Friday, the days they're not in the street, and be successful. But if by the time they're going to do the vetting, the first person goes to Parliament, it is still hard. It's still tough. They have to hire lorries of security. How come to find their way into the Parliament? So you have to decide. And the best time to decide now, between now and the vetting period. They'll know, even those MP that we know they're going to pass that one, but they'll do that one knowing very well these people are watching and they're still mad for the things that Ruto have brought back, and we must stop it. So please, Indian planned demonstrations Thursday, tomorrow, we rest on weekend. Ruto goes to church, goes to church at his background. We know how the background works, and then get the support, go back to State House. Then no, we can't allow that. So we have to decide. We have to decide now. Is Zingine story mingi, what will happen, what GID is an important thing. But then, as per the constitution is, the idea, even if it will come, is only the word that you're going to put forward that will make even those specific system work. The one thing that will make those ideas get released only if you put effort. Other than that, it will not work. Because okay, fine, we have idea. We now have to wait up 2027. So please, it's a very important thing. But let's the game now. One goal is Ruto out, constant devils. That's my
Asante sana Isolde. Wacha nijitetee kiasi. Mi nikipewa job ya gava, if I don't align, I don't. And people know. When Sonko appointed me to be CC for health, I said, fuck no. I'm not going to allow to a government that does not value integrity, transparency. Actually, there's an article that was written around that. Kulikuwa na nepotism and a lot of abuse of office. I can't. And so that means that, and that's why I keep saying, this country does not have a vacuum of leaders. Sisi wote tumekaa hapa ni leaders. So there are multiple ways in which we can lead. I said I will serve Kenyans in multiple ways, in my voice, in my activism, in my professional space, and I have. So msi asikudanganya hapa ati lazima kuwe na the old people who are working because they know the government well. No, that structure is very easy to understand. Cherry McKenna, to you.
Okay, thank you so much for the mic. I just want to start with what I think is the priority and what I think we should not forget, because even the timeline has already started changing. And knowing Ruto and knowing the criminal that he is, we should recognize the games that he plays with us. Him bringing back the CSAs, he knows that will change the conversation. But we know what happened yesterday in Zimmerman, in Githurai, and we know what has been happening in Kwari. And we must not move on from that. When Mkenya Daima spoke, I was very, very impressed because I really relate to that. And even though a few of you have not agreed entirely with it, me, Mkenya Daima, I'm fully behind you. This government has gone completely rogue, and it's time we realize who we are dealing with. We don't have to turn into goons, but we have to protect ourselves. These people have made it impossible for us to protest peacefully. They have made it impossible. We're dealing with people who are abducting us without number plates, without police uniform. We don't have weapons. You're seeing people being beaten up and the only thing they're holding is a flag. That is insane. We're seeing people, Jana, that video of Sijri, someone trying to enter their house, wanna scream, wanna leer, please don't shoot me. Nifunguleni mlango, these people want to shoot me, and they still shot him. These are the people we are dealing with. It's time we protected ourselves. And so it's time we also realized that we're dealing with a criminal at the presidency. And I know some of his goons are here also. And it's time you guys, the 10,000 plus of you that are here, that we realize that we're dealing with a criminal at the presidency. That man is a criminal. I won't even sanitize or sijui my words. So knowing what we know, we have to move forward accordingly. And I like what, I don't know who it was, one of the hosts said, usikuje tu hapo utuambie, we have to strategize, we have to strategize, we have to strategize. Tell us what are the strategies. And one of my suggestions for a strategy, for the strategies we can employ moving forward, is we have to have a clear agenda. By now, we know Ruto must go is the main message, but it's like there's so many people who are not confident about pushing that as the main thing. And when we say Ruto must go, guys, you have to realize we're saying Ruto must go. Ruto must leave office. Ruto and Gachagua must leave office. And for 60 days, the speaker takes over and the re-election is done. Article 146 of the Constitution provides for that. So when we say Ruto must go, we are saying Ruto himself and Gachagua must go. Not a cabinet, because you guys have realized this rot is at the head. There's nothing Ruto will do right now that will change. Even he cannot bring, do you know how much do you know how shameless you have to be to bring in the same CSs you fired? It's like he's looking at these Kenyans and he's not moved by these protests. He's not moved by any of these things. He's not even scared. That's the statement he sent out by bringing back these CSs. So the first strategy I would suggest is we have to have a clear agenda and push that agenda. As at now, there's no other thing I'm pushing. Hakuna ku dissolve CSs, Ruto must go. That's the message. And the rot is at the head and he must go. And because I believe so much in this message, we have to now start organizing and strategizing towards this. I don't know how open we are to this, but I honestly think the time is ripe to start fronting our next president. When Ruto was president, when Ruto was deputy in Uhuru's time, he started campaigning in I don't know, it was year 2. That's why we used to call him Tangatanga. We wonder what's wrong with this guy. And we have to start fronting who our next candidates will be. It doesn't have to be one person, but we have to make our options known now. And we have to, those people who are intending to lead this country have to make themselves known now, because that's the direction we are going when we say Ruto must go. So we have to start pushing for our next president.
Thank you so much.
The other thing is,
Go ahead.
sorry. I'm gonna hug you.
Right.
The other thing is, I'm seeing John Allen here, and man, just take this message to the other media. I know you're not mainstream, but they need to get serious. But even if they don't, the 10,000 of us here, the other strategy is deplatforming mainstream media and creating our own media. If it means creating our own YouTube, our own Twitter, our own TikTok, and just pushing that every because on TikTok already it works well because citizen journalism exists there. It's just that everyone is on their own. But if we can have one page where all these videos are put regarding the country, then it would work really well, and then any money generated from those accounts go to like our own causes as a country and things like that. That would work in our favor because we've seen the media is not on our side. Sorry to say, but that's the truth. We have to accept it, and now we are on our own. We are the media, we have accounts, and the people with influential platforms need to really, really rally behind us. And then finally, we have to deplatform the people who are our enemies. Earlier today, I know Kimuzi said he left and he's not here, but one of the hosts maybe could just I don't know, tell him. But earlier today, he tweeted something in the lines of like, Kina Cairo, we don't have to boycott them, and we can just like deplatform them. And I disagree with that, because we have to treat this thing with the seriousness that it deserves. The Kina Cairo it's not just opinions. People have died. People are dying. You guys saw the videos. You've been seeing the videos, and if you've been on the street, then you feel the pain differently. These are not just opinions. These people are not just betraying, in quotes, like a cause, a small cause. This is a serious thing. What they are doing is serious. And so I want to urge anyone here who wants to boycott their businesses to do so. What they are doing is beyond betrayal. And if you want to go beyond deplatforming them and boycott their businesses, you are fully justified to do so. And I know I said this is the last thing, but the other thing is, this thing is leaderless, but it doesn't mean that no one is a leader. It means everyone is a leader. So this thing of saying or tweeting, somebody should like make what somebody. The other day I saw someone tweeted somebody should create an account for like the missing persons, and I tweeted and replied, why don't you do it? Because even me, I'm not a graphic designer, but I started making posters just for the missing people. Like, there are things that we can do. We don't have to outsource courage from, because even Kina Hanifa, they're exhausted. They can't do everything. All of us have to pull our own weight. So yeah, that's all I'll say. Thank you so much for giving me the mic, and let's not cower. These people are banking on our fear, and they have to go. They have to go. It's unacceptable.
I really like the way you finished, that we all have a role to play, But I also want to appreciate right now the ICT. My God, Yani ChatGPT, my people from outside the country are like, you Kenyans are ahead. You've utilized technology, you've utilized social media, you've utilized the press. Every single space that you've gotten, you've utilized. Mainstream media has been ish with us. But I will say this, that the 40 states is still bound to be very impartial and independent. Where they are not independent, we call them out. Where they fault, we call them out. But these stories have to be seen. These stories rather have to be heard and seen everywhere. Our organizing has to be felt. Let me give an opportunity to the implementer, Karani.
Hello guys, you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of vitu mingi by the way zimesemwa, and one and foremost, mimi wanasema, I've spoken in several spaces and I say, under the right circumstance, hakuna politician mzuri. So I want to actually desist your idea, could platform your idea totally to start imposing people on us. People who have been in government now wamepatikana na scandals. So I'm calling out Kivude Kibwana because the Attorney General's, the Auditor General's report on the said county yenye alikuwa na lead in Makueni is not very clean during the time when he was governor. So there's no need for you kuanza kwati tunakuwa lenient at any politician. There's no politician who is our friend. Inafaa tujue hivyo, by the way. Let's begin from there. There's no politician who is our friend. Na kitu ya pili, even though you are not fronting violence, nasema the law will punish. Since hii maandamano ianze, mmeona any person, any Supreme Court judge akikuja forward, acha hata niseme tu Martha Koome mwenyewe, ule the hot air connoisseur, umeona akikuja to criticize and to say the rule of law will take effect. No. Squeezy, look at people like Didmas Baraza. Didmas Baraza, with a murder case on his hands, evidence iko hapo all along, he cannot be prosecuted. Ako hapo trying to sell us fear. And right now tunampatia platform. Why? What I've discovered about politicians in Kenya ni ya kwamba the government must have that on you kukuappoint so that they blackmail you. Going forward, hapa mbeleni, what if we change the constitution and development equal very separate na leadership, whereby even when the government is in office or not, development itaendelea. We've seen it in the UK, we've seen it in countries like Israel and the US, whether president ako in office or not, development bado inaendelea na iko very independent of politicians. Politician wetu manze wamechukua hiyo pesa za development, CDF and everything, weaponize. This guy called Musalia Mudavadi, I come from where he comes from. The road that leads to his own compound, huwezi pita na gari yenye iko na haina ground clearance. The guy anakuja na chopper every other morning. When anataka kuja home, anashuka in Mululu Primary, anachukua chopper back home. The road yenye inapita huko kwake iko impassable. Like, I really think going forward in a part to every politician to account. I'm not for the idea to anarchy and things like those, but your time when you were putting their business under pressure, it was working. Now, who been appointed, I like to be the bearer of bad news. What watakuwa approved without any fail, all of them. So what do we do going forward? Mimi, by the way, I advocate violence for violence. Sababu people wamekuwa very peaceful. People have been peaceful. Watu wako tu na flag and things like those, and they are still getting punished. Unashikwa. I have a friend who was arrested akiprotest your day at 25th of June. They were relayed in Kibra law courts. I think the guy lives in Kawangware. Walisema he was carrying a dangerous weapon. They don't even mention the weapon. The guy amekuwa industrial all along. We've been trying to release him on bond until it was, I think, on Thursday when we managed to get him out. So you, hata wewe ukienda the right way, I want you to know the government wants you to go the right way. It is not playing fair. If they are not playing fair, wow, we playing fair. Mbona hii maandamano isikuwe every other day? Because where we are right now, like the government will not be defeated where we are right now if tutaanza kukua lenient. Atunasema wanapigana mawe ati sisi tusipigane mawe. Like, no, the time for democracy for me, I really believe it's over. Return fire with fire. Ivo too, that is all I'll say. Do what you have to do to protect yourself, because ukilia, no one is listening to you. You still die anyway. So that is me and that is my submission.
Troy, I want to tell you a fact. And the fact is that the prison infrastructure system was built for men, young men like you in this country. It's a young men who overpopulate the prison system. It's a young men who people are profiting on in terms of the tenders they're getting to maintain the prison. It's a young man like your friend alishikwa on some inflated, bogus charges, which of course, if a good magistrate or judge is to listen to that case, following our evidence, atamwachilia. It's a young man like huyo, wanajua, especially the ones from the poor community, wanajua hawezi afford kulipa bail. Kwa sababu hawezi afford kulipa bail, akutakuwa katawamasi. And so we will use this criminal justice system to be able to punish them and instill fear in them. That's what they're doing. And that's a place that they are shooting us to. If we want this country to move ahead, if we want to change our laws, we have an opportunity to do that. We find that there are these laws, we have to do away with them. We do away with them. But we must understand that the number of young men who are dying and impoverishing in the prison system are so many. And so we cannot turn them on the dishes like that. And that's why I really loved LSK. LSK has come out, has followed the law, has cornered them on the law, and that's why they are releasing people on even a zero bail. If it did not stand on the rule of law, then it becomes very different. So we must choose a path. Is it the path to constitutionalism, where we said, kwa nini bibi ya mtu ako na budget? Kwa nini magari mnanunua ovyo ovyo, mna repair manyumba? Kwa nini watu wanapewa appointments and they don't qualify? Why is it that we have economic crimes which are not being persecuted all the way to the end? Why isn't EACC doing its own job? Why is DPP coming every day and telling us we don't have evidence like they did yesterday? That is a rule of law. If we want the other side, which is a very dangerous side, is that we will give them. And even right now, you will see a lot of the times when the law acts for it favors them, watakimbilia waseme section XYZ. And you saw even when the IG for National Police Service was releasing that statement on the freedom to anchoring on the freedom of assembly and protest, Alieka, he quoted the law, and so they use the law when it favors them, and so we must call them out on that.
Okay, Doc, I think also the reason why you hear people getting angry is because even as much as we are trying to pursue the law, unaona kuna watu wanashikwa na wakireleasiwa, people are being abducted. I won't use the term arrested. People are being abducted and then they are being released without charges, and this thing goes unspoken about. I mean, this is unlawful. So people are getting angry because it's becoming a government. It's like a bad behavior they are doing, and no one is watching over them. So this thing is angering people. So that's why unasikia watu wakiongea hivi. So I don't know if we have lawyers who can help us, because it's also coming. See, the process of law is becoming unbearable for most of us. Watu hawezi shika mtu and then you release them without any charges, and then there's no consequences for you. You see, so it's like they have more power than we do. So wase pia wana jump juu ya hizo story. Then something I wanted to clarify. There are so many requests, and I think even on my end they are hanging. So those who are requesting and DMing me that I add, kindly note that we are trying our best. It's hanging on my end slightly, but be assured that you'll have an opportunity to speak. Sawa sawa.
Asante sana Davis, and I totally hear you. I totally hear around the place of anger kabisa, cause mimi yenyewe wakishutu mtoi wangu neza guruka kabisa. But I also totally hear on the place where watatumia tu hiyo ofisi ya IG na DPP na wapeane evidence na we ufungwe, hawatajali ni hasira. So hii movement yetu tumekataa. Wakikuabduct tunaacha hashtag, tunapiga kelele na kurelease. Saizi LSK imepeleka number of public interest litigation to court. Let me tell you, what's a place tumetoka na judiciary ni mbali. Are they where we want it to be? No. But at least we have structures that can take us somewhere. That's why movement haijakuwa ultra-vires. Hakuna place tumeitisha ati any powers or any requests which are outside the ambit of the law. And that is actually what is making them uncomfortable. Angalia Menya na hiyo story ya JKIA. Right to information, by the way, very simple, which is a constitutional right. Where tupatie information, mulasema mulipatia ambani hii, mulisema hii ni PPP, private public partnership. Iko wapi hizo? Iko wapi documentation? Iko wapi tendering? Iko wapi procurement? That's the thing. And so mnawafinyia hapo. Mkiwafinyia hapo, they stop briefing. Because they swore. They swore to uphold the law. So at least if they didn't swear on that law, we have another alternative. By the way, Davis, mimi demwageto. Tunatafuta tu streetwise. But our baseline is what they swore to uphold for now. Glow. Mudeu, your hand is up. I don't think Mudeu, can you hear us?
There's no response from that end.
Flinch, and then Jamila.
Oh, guys, niaje? I think what I'd like to say ni hii kitu tuendelee kupush na don't give up yet. Najua kuna watu wengi kwa timeline wenye wanataka hii movement ifail. Maybe wako na their personal agenda. Kuna mtu anataka yaani tu imsatisfy. Juu kama nimeona mtu kama Cairo, ukiangalia tweets zake ni jamaa tu anataka kudiscourage watu. So what you do, tukazane tu and you're going to win. That's all.
Oh, thanks Flinch for being brief. Yes, Jamila, kindly go. Jamila, your hand is up. Okay, we'll have Cynthia speak. Cynthia?
Am I the only one who's not hearing? Am I the issue?
Jamila, we can hear you.
Okay, hi. What I wanted to
Please
say
speak a
is
little louder.
we've been
You're
trying.
whispering.
Hello, can you hear me?
Kombali.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you, but Kombali.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is we've been trying to be cordial with this government for so long, and I don't think that is effective. The way forward would be, I'm not saying we go the way of anarchy, but to make this place hostile for these people, regardless of whoever they might be, a member of parliament, whoever is in this government, to just make everything difficult for them so that at least our voices can be heard. The only way to deal with manipulative, egotistic, narcissistic people is just to match their energy. Do whatever they are doing, but in a constitutional way, because these people will not hear us. We've been out in the streets for like a month. We have been doing it peacefully, and they're not listening to us. Coming to this point, it's not fair, and there is nothing we can do about it. But let's just try to be bad towards them the same way they're being towards us.
Asante sana. Jamila, I really like that. I really like that we can hold them accountable but based on the law. For example, Jika mechekio video mse wa which constituency is this? MP. Barabara ni mbaya alafu anashukishwa na mbwa tembea.
That was an MCA.
MCA. That's very simple. As in kitu kama hiyo. Kiari juzi, I mean after our pass ile bill, the finance bill after I voted yes, alinyimwa platform. Na ikuwa violent. Msi alienda kachukua tu mic akamwambia buda wezi tubongesha. And so every single way their popularity can increase, remove it from them. That's why churches are a very important strategy for us. Wanafika church, mayouth mnaanza kupiga kelele. Wanakuja mako, mayouth mnaanza kupiga kelele. Mna make sure madha wenyu wote wanapiga makelele. So that means they become, let me tell you, the weapon of the politician is popularity. The moment they are not popular, wako nje. Cynthia, Tekla. Cynthia?
Yeah, I'm here. Chenye nilikuwa nataka kusema ni clearly we can see that we are dealing with a government that doesn't care. On Tuesday watu wamekuwa maandamano, on Wednesday Ruto announces people that we do not want. So clearly, as much as our protests are working, kuna message yenye bado hatujafikisha. We need people to organize ourselves. Kuna watu wenye ni IT experts hapa Kenya. Organize something, bibi sijui venye zinaitwa na those IT terms, but a bullying, cyberbullying something to those government like leaders. Wasipofanya chenye tunataka, shukisha down their account. Mtu akipost kitu, let it not get any attention. No likes, no comments, nothing. Let's paralyze them. And then kama kitu kama protests, we need population. Tunataka tukienda demonstrate, tunaenda wote. So instead of going there to tupiwe tear gas, what about we organize something like a concert? Tunaweza to hashtag something, organize a concert, kila mtu aende town. Have everyone in town. Na tufanye hiyo concert even for a full week. So that watu hawana reason ya kushoot people who are attending a music concert or a comedy concert or something like a musical. Hakuna mtu atakuja kushoot watu wamekuja kudance na kuimba, but something to paralyze the CBD or Nairobi. Tukitoka hapo to make sure that kama kuna mbunge yoyote ama someone that we do not want, someone that doesn't listen to us mwenye anataka platform yoyote, we deny them. Mtu akiorganize rally, they want to come to speak to us, we do not attend. We don't like Evo to boycott everything. Evo ndo tutaweza because people are dying, kusema ukweli. Some of us are still very young, we still have dreams. Tukisema tunaenda rogue in an unconstitutional way, we are going to end up dead. And I don't think we want that. So let us like be smart. Tufanye kitu yenye ita work. Hawa wakina Ruto, let's make them lose their account. Something tunaweza fanya. Hawa watu tuwanyime spaces zote. I think that is all I have to say.
Cynthia, I really love that. Kuwanyima spaces zote na kwa very innovative. I love about how artists have also taken this up. I've seen skits, I've seen short films, I've seen animations, as in all single ways in which our message can pass around. That's very powerful. I want you to remember that Kirkir, who has been appointed as a cabinet secretary of transport, has had criminal charges, economic criminal charges on him, has appeared in court. But huo msee amekuwa appointed. Mwosho moja. Wewe Cynthia, ukienda kusaibabuli msee, which one sababuli, of course it has, I mean there are certain things that the law says. Atatumana hapo kwa hao yako, ushikwe hapo, DPP ataandika charges haraka haraka, na by the way kitu kidogo kidogo unanyonyeshwa ukiwa ndani. My point is, kama hii website imebuildiwa ya Ndii, that website is very factual. Every single thing Ndii ashaisema imekuwa hapo. Ile ChatGPT ya corruption, it's factual. Every single thing iko hapo, it's a fact. So msiwezi dispute. So if maybe the word is not bullying that you wanted to use, is another different word, and I'm not explaining you. It's that brings in that makes you become their target easily. Hivyo tu nilikuwa nataka kusema. Rosie.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity to speak. I just wanted to say.
Hello, you can hear me?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes.
Abdi,
Yes,
someone is on the mic. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I just wanted to say, like, guys, since we started on the 25th, like right now, a lot of people have become, it's not even anger anymore, it's apathy. If you haven't noticed, a lot of people have just resolved to going back to their lives because they're giving up. Because really, when we're speaking the truth without justice, it kind of frustrates a lot of people. That's why we see the likes of Cairo, and it's not just Cairo, it's many more people. Like when we were starting before the 25th protest, that was the mother of all protests till now, someone would hold a space and 100K of us would sit and listen. Right now, at max, the one person who still holds a big number for spaces is Amerix, and we clock at around 40K, because 60K of us have become apathetical to the cause, because we are seeing no results. We are seeing like guys are tired. So me, I don't want to discourage the cause, because this cause has given so many of us so much hope. Like this hope that had died. Me, I won't lie, I've never voted for Ruto or Raila. These guys, after the post-election violence, I lost hope in them. So whenever these principles were the ones who are the face of being elected for presidency, I've never really bothered. I gave up on politics at all. Like if you even look at my timeline, I am anti-political. I don't even watch the news. But since the hashtag Stop Financial Bill started, some hope was built in me. Sahi nimekuwa advocating in any space I can get to just get people psyched up. But even me in my circles, I can tell you for sure, guys are pathetical. People, in fact, today in a WhatsApp group, someone just asked, are people still going for maandamano? They are going to be a maandamano tomorrow. Like, okay, you've already given up. Yani, there's no, hakuna kitu. But what's aching in my heart really is just to say, guys, we need to re-strategize. I'm sorry, but we need to rethink. Ruto is not looking for leaders. Isn't it derailment? Anajua hakuna leaders kwa hii movement. Anajua everything kinagaubaga. He right now ni campaign ya kusecure regime yake the next 5 to 10 years. And that's what he's doing. And we need to match up that energy. You guys, Ruto and his cronies, they're wise. They watch us, they study us, and they adjust accordingly. We can't sit down and just use the same principles we've been using since 25th. Those principles worked for 25th. Right now, we need to look forward for ways that can stop whatever systems they're putting into place to secure their reign. Mimi sijui how we will achieve that. All I know is hata kama watu wako angry, wamechoka, one thing is for sure. Mi sijaona watu wakisema Ruto must stay. Guys still want Ruto to go. Now we need to sit down and think, what is the best approach towards Ruto going? One way I can suggest is get these people, get all of us together in a forum, in a space. I don't know how we will do it, but we need to sit down and decide on one way forward. Whether that means we are forming a party, we're not forming a party, we're doing this, we're doing that. We just need to sit down together and decide what's the way forward. And really now focus on that. Because as we speak right now, kwanza nimeona news hapa breaking, ameshaanza ku make changes kwa KDF, yenye tunasema they are still on our side. This guy is securing every angle. Kila mali tumesema kitu, kila mali tumefocus. Mimi nimekuwa educated on so many things since hii story ya maandamano ianze. Sitaki kukua dialed down again. Sitaki kurudi hiyo place penye ati nimeziba kila kitu ya politics, anything that's triggering, so that nirudi back to my cocoon. No, we can't go back to okay. We have to look for strategies, you guys. We have to speak one language. We have to get all of us in one space and decide on a way forward. That's my take. Thank you.
Thank you very much. History getting all of us in one space. It's an idea that some of us have been discussing behind the scene, but ni ngumu manze. But also, it's also a good thing that people have various spaces. Ndio isikue centralized. You see, when you see, this is why people turned on Osama. Well, he betrayed the people because at one point when this thing started, we used to have, I think, a maximum of 2 spaces on the TL. Ilikuwa Osama na Kimuzi hosting, and then it started by Osama hosting, and then when things went out of how they went, what change. So me, I think the diversification kukuwe na various the goal is one. Ruto must go. So watu wa diversify, watu wakuwe na hizo space.
Sorry.
I saw that.
Sorry to interject. I'm not saying that we have one space continuously. You're not getting my point. My point is not to have just the one space where we all meet during that one space. No, we just need to set our agenda correct. You see, when we were hashtagging for finance bill, we had that one agenda, finance bill. People were still having multiple forums to talk. But right now, we need to re-strategize, to have that one agenda that you're talking about. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm saying we need to have that still. We need to have a mother. Like hata kama itakuwa commit physically ama wapi, whichever way works, we need to get all of us wenye tumeanza kukua na apathy, wenye tunaanza kufikiria maybe political party, wenye bado wanasema pana protest every day. When you see, guys are now having many different agendas, and that division is what's making us to be weak. We need to have one strategy, and that can only happen if we sit down and have a forum where we all agree. Hata kama si eti ni 100% all of us agree, at least 90% of us agree on one agenda and focus on it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Perfectly put. Because you see, if you monitor keenly what has been happening, the reason why you might think we've been struggling is because people don't know. Kuna watu wanasema Ruto must go. There are hardliners who are on Ruto must go, and then there are people who occupy Parliament, occupy MOH, or do this, sack the cabinet, dissolve. So you see, even when you hear from these, we might call them the experienced political, they're asking us, what do you want? You want the same Ruto who want, you are calling for Ruto to go, and then mnasema Ruto dissolve a cabinet, bring in competent people. Mnasema Ruto apatie ideas. What do you want? I think that's the point you are saying. We need to move with one agenda. Because as someone had talked earlier, people like Cairo, they got what they wanted. I mean, when the movement started, we were almost 100% in. Then kuna watu wame drop in because probably what they were fighting for walipata. When you are the people who are in for money walilipwa wakatoka. The people who are in for the finance bill ilianguka wakatoka. So there are people who still are not satisfied with what is happening. So we need to form that hardline where to agree. What are we going for? Are we going for Ruto must go? Because all these things have different strategies. Tukisema ni cabinet in tunataka iende, we won't approach it the same way we want Ruto to go. I think there I agree with you 100%. We need to form our agenda very clearly and make sure that everyone is on board with what we are moving with. Who's been on the line for long? I think Mebs or Doc, kuna mtu ulikuwa ushaeka online. I think we'll
Kuna
have
Rain na Mebs na Abdi in that order. Alafu
okay.
tuinge, alafu Manga atafollow ine. Rain, Mebs and then Abdi.
I can go as we wait for Rain. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Go.
Well, guys. I know some days are heavy. It's heavy on my heart, actually, from the time I saw the nominees. And once again, of course, the political class has just joined hands and left Kenyans all naked. But why do they do that? It's because Ruto knows he's naked already, so he's trying to cover his ass. Yeah. What we are doing and what you're saying is doing the swamp, 100%. I've had a speaker before me talking about Kivuta Kibwana, and with all due respect, I love Professor Kivuta Kibwana, but I disagree because it's true. His books were never clean as well. So there was looting when he was governing Makueni. Yeah, Martha, he on his when he chimed in, he spoke about Martha Karua and people. And yes, we can take advice from them, but it doesn't mean we trust them 100% because the political elite are just the same people. If they're not eating together, then they're the opposed people on the table. Yeah. Martha Karua is the same person who also, if you remember the scandal well in the election of 2009, she's not that clean anyway. So, and also I disagree with people calling for violence. Like, Doc said here, Bosire, the prison is meant for poor people. Yeah. That's why you see people like Ditmat Baraza not in jail because the government, because they have money, they are looting for who, they are doing this. That is why they're not sitting in prison. Prison is meant for poor people. That's why mtu ameiba kuku huko ushago ako kwa jela Kamiti maximum prison and mwenye ameiba milioni anatembea scot free. Obado is free. We can name all of them. Sonko is there. We can name all of them. I don't need to go that. So please do not use violence. Do not use violence. That is when you know, like Doc said, and I don't want to repeat because we'll just be repeating the same things. That's why you will know that the constitution, they follow the constitution. Yeah. I remember yesterday the DPP came out and said, oh, the person who shot Rex, it was not clear from which direction and all that, like trying to tell us, like, if I take a gun right now as Mabel, go to the streets of Nairobi in the darkest night and shoot somebody, I will be caught. I will be found. Just because I did it and nobody saw me, there must be investigation and it should be determined who exactly shot. And police they are given bullets in the morning. They're told you walk with this. There's a leader there. You are someone in charge of you who says 5 of you are going to man this side, 10 of you are going to man the other side. So at least in the range, they know who was there. Yeah. So Tusibebo Ufala, guys. Tusibebo Ufala. We are draining the swamp saying Ruto must go, and Ruto must go doesn't mean Ruto as a person. It means he, the presidency, Ruto, with everybody in his governance. Gashagwa, everybody. I don't want to mention their names. So guys, do not forget that okay, I said violence, please do not go for that. And leaders, people who are calling, oh, we should have a leader right now and start picking one right now. That is how they're gonna disband this movement, which doesn't need to be disbanded right now. You've seen already, even Raila, who has been the god of, we call him Baba, yeah, he's in bed with them right now. So please not say. And didn't Ruto say that public officers, servants over 60 years should go home? How old is Aparanya again? But I rest my case here. So I just want to urge you guys, I know what is the way forward. The way forward is for us to follow the constitution as we have, keep making it uncomfortable for them, deplatform them everywhere. Yes, when they come, Uko Ocha, there's actually, I'm always against MPs living in Runda and then their constituents live somewhere else. I am for, if you are the MP of Madare, you should live in Madare. If you are the MP of Langata, live there so that you know the problems your constituents face. There is no way, mimi ni MP wa Siaya, ama whatever place, Samburu, and then I live in Nairobi, and then once every quarter I go home with my fuel guzzler with the muddy roads. You guys push my car. I see young children whose feet are submerged into mud until their knees, trying to push these big cars for the MPs to move. No, make them march, make them walk the walk, walk the talk. They should go in their hospitals, in their constituencies. At one day, everybody, everybody will benefit from where they serve. And I call for everybody, please, let's forge forward, because if we don't, anyway, it's a matter of time. I keep insisting on this. It's a matter of time. This political elite, the way they've been, our CS wamekuja tu saizi, they will be vetted, of course, they will pass that one. Mbadi told us the skunk, he's part of the skunk right now. He will be part of it. All of them are just now will compete. Who's going to loot more? Where can I get more money? Who is having this? That's why you hear the sayings of watu wa Murima, watu wa wapi. That's why every parastatal is full for their people so that they can steal easily. And if they continue like that, right now already, the middle class is just a disease away from poverty. If it continues like this, the poor people are becoming more and more, because the elite are less anyway than the poor people. Majority are the poor people. Once, because there's no food security right now, health is rotten in Kenya. Once it continues like this, in the next 3-4 years, people will be starving in Kenya. What do? You have your defense mechanism. It will urge you to go and steal for my neighbor. Ndaenda kwa Doc Bosire, ndakuja kukuibia, because I do not have anything. Anyway, it's either I die of starvation, or I come and steal from you. And if I steal from her and we are done eating what she has, we will move to the next one. So Occupy State House will happen anyway. Yeah, people from Kibera will go to the next affluent estate in their surrounding and steal from those people. So at the end of the day, we should think about the Kenya that we want. And I just want to rest my case by saying, please do not give up. I had somebody say, of course, we are giving up. And I understand. And I know it's every day different information. Yesterday, people were being killed in the middle of the night. We couldn't sleep. Today is now coming with this bogus list that they're doing and all that. Tomorrow will be something. I know. Too much information, so that we are even so exhausted with so much that they're giving us, the bullshit that they're giving us. But please do not give up. If you give up, politics, it's a body that governs a lot of your daily lives. I do not need to explain. A lot of eloquent speakers have spoken before me. So guys, let's forge forward. Let's drain the swamp. Ruto must go. We keep occupying the streets until they know really Ruto, Odinga, and everybody else. We do not need you. We do not need the political class, and Kenya can run without them. Thank you very much, Davis. Thank you, Kimozi is not here anyway. Thank you, Bosire. And next to the next speaker.
Thanks, Mebs. Very positive vibe. Abdi, I think you are next.
Thank you. Thank you for organizing this space. I'm joining you from Toronto. And my take is...
From where?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
You said you're joining from?
Toronto.
Okay.
So my take is, I see Ruto as a real joker for sure, with his political coalition of losers. I thought he will listen to the ground, which is not the case. It is the status quo repackaging of the same corrupt, incompetent folks to just form an unholy alliance. Despite the promise of change and reforms, we continue to see the same old pattern of governance and mismanagement. I refuse to endorse any of Ruto's appointees. His values actions fundamentally oppose our philosophy of life. We don't even believe to any of these politicians who are self-seeking. It's time for us to demand a genuine and accountable leadership rather than settling for recycled, failed governance. The government is not listening. The march will continue. And now we need to change of strategy and tact way forward. We need a vehicle. We need to follow the constitution. The Kenya I want is one where there is inclusivity, sustainability, rule of law, and progress are at the forefront. By upholding the principles of accountability and transparency, and genuine commitment to addressing the root causes of our challenges, we can build a Kenya that truly reflects the hopes and dreams and our aspirations of the people. I believe together we can achieve a brighter and more equitable Kenya in the future. Thank you.
Short and precise, Abdi. Love that. Duke Ntambo.
Thank you, Bosire, for this opportunity, and Kimuzi. First and foremost, I would like to say it's a good thing that Raila has joined Ruto, because this gives us the opportunity to be the opposition of the government, and this was the last card for the last 4 presidency that we had in Kenya. During Moi time, we had Kibaki and Uhuru, and now it's Ruto. So Raila actually I don't think if Raila runs for really go vie for presidency to run the country. I think he's just put there to be the loser during the election, so that he can benefit himself, because during Moi time he went to he did a handshake, Kibaki handshake, Uhuru handshake, now Ruto handshake. So this handshake is a last card of any president in Kenya. It's a hidden card for any president in Kenya. So right now, when you feel like your government is in shaky mode, you bring Raila, and all of them, they know Raila is a conman, is somebody, he was called by Omtata a political prostitute, because this guy only wants to benefit himself. Look at this position right now. He didn't even go with Kalonzo Musyoka. He didn't go even with Martha Karua. The same, it happened during the Uhuru time. He didn't went with Wetangula and all the other allies, So this guy always negotiate or always take opportunity for himself. Right now, in this particular moment, I'm so angry because he didn't even go to the street. Yeah, this guy didn't go to the street. The Gen Z movement started without them. It was a leaderless, it was a partyless, it was tribeless. And the guys went to the street because of one major cause, that was finance bill, and also to call out the corruption that's going on in this government. And then at the last minute, he saw the opportunity and he hijacked our movement. Right now, he has go to bed with the government for his gain. Because even those CS, they have been put there. Those, if you read the article today that was wrote about the ex-CS exposed Ruto, you will see how the government works. Yeah. So Ruto is controlling the ministry, the CSs. So the CSs are there like puppets. They could not discharge their duty. It's the same thing with Raila. So those CS will put there. They'll just be controlled. They'll be puppets. So technically, Raila benefits himself from the government. Is the government. So my first point was, it is good that Raila joins Ruto, because this was the last card for any president to bring peace in this country. And we all love peace in this country. But this has given us opportunity to push harder, so that we know we are sending them all home. We are sending not Ruto alone, but we are sending even Raila. So we have to clean up the mess. We have to drain this swamp. So another thing, the second point is strategy. This is very important, guys. Let's mobilize. I'll take an example of Egypt revolution. Those guys were also leaderless. It was a leaderless movement. Those guys took 18 days, camped at the Tahrir Square, in Cairo. And in 18 days, the president was gone. So I like the strategy that we used on Tuesday, that we confused the police, that we are going to occupy JKIA. Of course, it was one of the strategy, but it happened that the protesters went to the CBD, so police were caught unaware, and even that made Bungei to come to the CBD to try and talk to the youths and to be seen anaonyesha urafiki na wao, so that it cools down the temperature. But that was an embarrassment for them, So the last Thursday ile andani tulikuwa tumesema we camp at Uhuru Park. So these guys, they have their spies, even these spaces, even right now they're listening, and that's why this is the main thing, that they were caught unaware, because they come to Twitter and take that information to their boss. So walifikiri tutaenda JKIA, then we went to CBD. So they rely on social media. They don't have grassroots information, So if we could find some strategy and say we camp at Nairobi, less people travel. Look, the people who can, that is. It's not a must all of us go to Nairobi. But those who can, you can host 2-3 people at your house. It doesn't have 82 kuje, the same day, and then we do the demonstration. We can plan, if the demonstration is next week on Tuesday, people can start traveling now. Host 2 or 3 friends at Nairobi. Then when we say like we are going on Tuesday for Mandamano, we are more than the number that came on that day that we occupied the parliament. You know, so this will give that strong overwhelming will overwhelm. I mean, the police and the government. The other thing is, how do we deal with the goons? That's another problem. How do we deal with the goons? Because these goons are the ones which government they're using, and because it's not expensive for the government to use the to use the goons, you know. I mean, it's expensive for the government to use police and you know, the tear gas and all that, but it is less expensive for the government to use goons because they pay 530, they'll pay 1,000, you know. They'll come with rungus and all that. So, because remember, with this mandamano, with this protest, we are starving the government. So it's 3 weeks of starving the government, or a month we have been starving the government. The government depends on the revenue they collect. So if the business are closed, they are starved. They cannot run any function in the government, which is us as the